Hello, everybody, and welcome to GameList, a show about our game of the year, 1 month at a time, most of the time, but today it's different, and you're looking at the screen right now if you're watching the video version, and you're saying that's twice the amount of people that we are used to seeing. So I am Jake, remember the voice. You have Colin, who you always see. Colin?
I'm
voice.
Colin.
Yes, of course. And then we have two special guests, Captain Stubbs.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
You are absolutely welcome here at any point, as is Tactical Dreamer.
What's up? Thanks for having me as well. Excited to be here.
Yes, of course. Now give us the plugs. I'll dish it over to you guys real quick. Let everybody know where they can find you and what you guys typically do on the internet wherever you do it.
Oh man, which what do you want to take, Chris? Because we're from the same network. We're from Friendly Fire, GameSpot. We started as the Spelunkers a lot of years ago. We did game clubs pretty regularly, and then we're like, you know what? It's hard to do game club back to back as your main show. So we kind of reformatted the show. We still do game clubs, just not as regularly. But I mean, Chris and I have a pet project that you've been on, Jake. Chris, why don't you talk about our show?
Yeah, we've been ranking every single Pokemon for almost 3 years now. Our list is like 1,200 Pokemon long, almost. More than that?
It's
almost
very impressive.
It is almost done. Actually, we just recorded our final regular episode. We've got a handful of stragglers and a lot of work to do to fix the list, make it right. It won't ever be right though.
It's like the biggest IP of all time, right? Like Pokemon is like the most profitable thing that's ever existed. So as long as Pokemon doesn't end, your show doesn't end, I'm assuming. Like you'll have to come back for repeat seasons as they introduce new generations. Right. It's a good thing to base off of. It's never going to stop.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff.
Yeah, we are almost done for now, I guess I should say. You can find that on our YouTube channel. Just Google Friendly Fire Games Podcast.
Easy as that. And I'll put links in the description. And Colin, when you put this up on the podcast feed, you will add links as well. I'll compile all of that after the fact once we get this up. Yes. Rip raring to go. Any individual plugs? You guys operate on Twitter, TikTok, anywhere that you want to have people find you? Get it done at the top.
At Captain Stubbs 1 on Twitter, if you want.
Yep.
At Dreamer Tactical on Twitter. Tactical Dreamer was not available.
There it is. There it is. We're in, baby. So here's the premise of this show, and this is why, if you're looking at the runtime, it's so wild, and why we have guests and everything, is because we wanted to make sure that we were covering all bases, because Key 3 is over. The Summer Games Fest, the Summer Games Mess. There's no E3 this year, but goddamn, it didn't stop video game developers and publishers around the globe from announcing a boatload of shit. So my idea was, let's combine forces, and let's talk about everything that floated our boat over the last week or so. We are not going to dig into the PlayStation stuff because that happened at the end of May, weeks prior to this, and I feel like the coverage is kind of come and gone. Believe me, it won't be for any lack of content here on this episode, that's for sure. But I just kind of wanted to throw it. Go ahead.
Most of the PlayStation stuff was covered again at one point or another throughout the events. So
sure. What do you guys think about, just real quick, like going around the horn and just like overall, like if we're calling this an E3, let's just do like a couple like quick superlatives. And this is, I didn't plan this. I didn't tell you guys that we were going to do this. So I want you guys to just kind of rattle it off the top of your head. Just how are you feeling right now? We're recording this on Monday night. It's Monday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, I fucking lost it over the weekend, man. So the Capcom show just wrapped up. The Ubisoft show was earlier today. Yesterday was the Xbox stuff. It's been a wild time. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best E3 week of all time, where do you throw this? I'm feeling like about an 8.5.
Yeah, I'm feeling like 8.5. This was a really solid show. Some lows, but some really good highs overall. Sure. This was a really great show. We got a lot of stuff we're interested in to talk about.
Yeah. Maybe a 9. I would go as high as a 9.
Wow.
Anything with Spider-Man really just bumps it up for me. I can't help it. Yeah,
I get it.
The only thing that would have made it better is a Sly Cooper. So
yeah, I think I'm around an 8. The only thing really missing is a Nintendo Direct, which they could still surprise us and do, because they only announced it a day early, but it seems like they're not going to.
Yeah, I had a bet on stream that we would hear about, like, Nintendo would come out and tweet on Sunday or Monday about a direct for, fucking 9 a.m. on Tuesday or Wednesday, and it doesn't seem to be happening. Who knows? We could be recording this and they could tweet about Wednesday tonight. It's still definitely possible, but I've also heard rumblings of, like, probably within the next 30 days there is one, and it's looking like maybe early July, which I would feel like I would be willing to encompass it. If we're willing to call Sony a part of this, then I would be willing to call a July Nintendo Direct part of this as well, which would be nice to have the triple header. I just yearn for a day where everybody comes together and just says, within 7 days, everybody announces everything. But goddamn, it would make this podcast even longer with the stack that I made for this. Good God, it would be a true nightmare. The other superlatives that I want to throw around, let me throw it over to you guys too. I'll give you mine as well. Is just tell me, like, best in show. What was the thing that you liked the most, whether that was a brand new announcement or a showing of a game that you were already excited for, like, this just delivered on all fronts? Mine is, I mean, it's a little bit of a layup. I guess feel free to give like an A and B, maybe like this one, but also like special, notoriety for a second too, because mine are kind of close. Prince of Persia, really big for me. So excited when that came on screen. And then honestly, Sonic out of nowhere, Sonic Superstars was a pretty big deal. Any other really big highlights for you guys?
Starfield's got to be my A. I knew I was gonna download that and play it. I enjoy Skyrim. Fallout's not straight my jam, but I'd always pour a few hours in and have a good time. So like I knew I was going to enjoy Starfield, but boy, did that direct really win me over in a big way and actually put me in a hyped state for Starfield. And then, smaller shout out. I didn't know this was coming, and when it popped up on screen, I kind of immediately shouted Station to Station. That is going to be right up my alley. I'm totally going to enjoy the heck out of that.
Hell yeah.
Man, looking over the list, it's hard to pick just like a couple of surprises even, but I would say like the number one thing that surprised me and just looked like incredibly cool is a game with a terrible name, Metaphor Re Fantasio.
Yeah.
Terrible name, but that game just looks so stylish and cool. It just looks like Persona, but without all the baggage of being a Persona game.
Yeah.
It's Final Persona Fantasy. Yeah. It looks really cool. We'll dig into that one for sure.
Yeah. And I'd say my B is Citizen Sleeper 2, which is the biggest announcement of the PC Game Show, I think. But Citizen Sleeper was like my third or fourth favorite game last year. So
what a perfect transition over to Kauulin over here.
My number one surprise was Citizen Sleeper 2. That PC Gamer ruined. It was like the most unceremonious reveal ever. It was just a AI skit that said, yeah, we're talking about Citizen Sleeper 2 in a few minutes. And I literally jumped up out of my seat and said, huh? What?
Yeah.
That is my most exciting surprise. And just in an effort to not talk about Spider-Man every single time, Alan Wake 2. I'm very excited for this game. The survival horror aspects of it. I'm all in. All in.
Nice. Good picks all around. So the loose plan here today is we're going to kind of go in sequential order by show and by announcement in the show. We'll jump around a little bit. There are some things that pull double duty. We might hit something that pops up in the Capcom presentation and talk about it when it first appeared in the Xbox presentation, for example. But for the most part, we've kind of gone through and just compared notes, like bullet pointed notes of this from this we want to talk about. And then I went through and just grabbed all the headliners. So we're going to let sort of our passion dictate how much time we spend on these games. So we'll follow along and we'll just start things off pretty straightforwardly with, we kind of had the big kickoff on Thursday with Summer Game Fest, and they opened the fucking show with my banger of the year, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. Did any of you guys see this coming?
No,
not at all.
It's been a wild road for Prince of Persia fans, mostly because the last that we've really seen Prince of Persia was the Sands of Time remake that's been in development hell with Ubisoft, a newer studio for Ubisoft. And I thought that the next time that we saw it would be whoever takes over this reboot or remake or remaster would be the next time that we saw any Prince of Persia stuff. But instead we were treated to this new rendition. And if you haven't heard of it yet, essentially this is, you're not playing as as the Prince of Persia. You're playing as one of the 7 immortals that are in charge of protecting him, and the prince himself has been captured or taken away or something along those lines, and you are questing to go get him back. So it's a 2D action side-scroller game, Metroidvania. It's developed by Ubisoft Montpellier, team behind, I mean, they've done a ton of stuff, including like Assassin's Creed, Origins, and Valhalla, but if you look at it and you're looking for DNA, they also did Rayman Legends and Origins, and I see some of that silky smooth gameplay, and it makes me go fucking bonkers. Any of you guys as hot on this as, probably not as hot on it as I am, but excited? What's the interest level?
I think it looks really cool. It's like new. It's a departure for Ubisoft. I feel like in their modern day open world stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, it looks cool. The art, the key art, I think is the best thing about it right now. It should also be noted, Sands of Time remake was already transitioned to a new internal studio. It's at Ubisoft Montreal now. Got it.
Tactical Dreamer, what did you think?
I'm really excited about it. I'm more excited about it after the Ubisoft Showcase. I feel like they showed off some cool like powers, like the time rewinding stuff looks really fun to do in a Metroid game. So I'm excited
really
for
cool
it.
stuff.
I'm glad they're going side scroller for Prince of Persia, because I feel like Assassin's Creed is Prince of Persia 3D now, like they don't need to keep doing the 3D games.
Yep. Anything else?
My question is, how do you feel about a Ubisoft original subtitle on things now?
I don't care.
It just seems odd to me.
Wes Craven's, whatever murder movie, that kind of thing. I don't mind. So go ahead and attach your fucking company to it. 343's Halo 5. It's only a matter of time. It's going to be on everything. I guess just like brass tacks details on Prince of Persia, and we can revisit this briefly when we get to the Ubisoft side of things, because I was also very hot on the way that Ubisoft handled their presentation this year. But $50 video game. It's kind of 50 is the new 40, if you will, which is nice. It's not like a full price game, and then I think some people were expecting maybe like a $20, $30, $40 price point, but I feel like this is less like Hollow Knight and more like a Metroid Dread, and Metroid Dread's a $60 12-hour fucking experience, 8-hour experience, depends on how good at Metroidvanias you are. But Prince of Persia, really good shit. From there, they jumped into gratuitous amounts of fucking Mortal Kombat 1, like a lot of it. And I'm in. What are you guys at on Mortal Kombat? Oh no, it's just
like
me.
Mortal Kombat. I like the stories.
Yep.
I'm not a big fighting game guy. Mortal Kombat's the one fighting game series I'll kind of play because you push a button to block. I can't hold back to block. My brain doesn't work with it. I'm sorry.
I get it.
So yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I don't know that I'll pick it up at launch. Most likely I will watch a YouTube compilation of the story, because I think those stories are so over the top and dumb, and I love them.
They're so crazy, and that's I think the best thing that they've done in Mortal Kombat reboot, Mortal Kombat 9, Mortal Kombat 2014, however you want to pitch it, 10 and 11. Those story modes that are 6 to 10 hours long, where you are just going from character to character and enjoying basically watching a very long Mortal Kombat movie that's just fucking ridiculous, is really some of the best shit in the world. And it's why Mortal Kombat, for me, if I have to choose, Mortal Kombat is my favorite fighting game, although it's not my favorite fighting game to play, if that makes sense. But you can't keep me away from a Tekken, a Street Fighter, or a Mortal Kombat, so I'm very in. The stuff that they showed off specifically during the trailer, I think, was a pretty hot ticket. They had a lot of obviously fatalities and gruesome, disgusting moves and whatnot, but the cameo fighters, where it's essentially like a tag team match where you can have an assist character come in, and they might be brand new characters that aren't available in the roster, or an older version of that character, so Sonya Blade in her original Mortal Kombat 1 getup, or the classic Ninja Sub-Zero can be in there. Just seems like a pretty cool touch. We won't dwell too long on Mortal Kombat 1. We'll move along to, does anybody care about Nicolas Cage, Dead by Daylight?
Only to poke fun at Nicolas Cage and his awkwardness on stage.
No Dead by Daylight players?
No.
Nah, I played a very small amount. Seems cool, but I had not put the time into it.
I will share just this one anecdote that came from Kyle Bossman, who, formerly of Easy Allies, works behind the scenes at the Game Awards with Jeff Keighley. And he was asked if he got to interact with Nicolas Cage at all, and he said, not really, but I was in close proximity. And right before Nicolas Cage went on stage, Kyle mentioned, he goes, I got to watch Nicolas Cage look at the screen and watch the presentation for Capcom's Exoprimal Street Fighter collab, and he seemed infatuated. Like anybody would, but just like the idea of Nicolas Cage not knowing shit about video games, and then of all the things that happens right before he goes on stage is the Exoprimal Street Fighter fucking Mecha Ryu collab. Just the idea of that man watching that is very good shit.
You know, I saw a guy on Twitter saying he used to work at like a GameStop or something, and Nicolas Cage came in one day and said, I want everything you have on Godzilla, I think it was. And Nicolas Cage just went and bought like a N64 or something in every single Godzilla game and something else. And he took pictures of it. And he's like, Nicolas Cage told me not to post the picture, so I'm going to respect his wishes. I don't know if it's true or not, but I think if there's any celebrity freak that would do that, it would be Nicolas Cage. So.
It could be like that Bill Murray story, like no one's gonna believe you when he just ate someone's appetizer off of their plate. Like we'll never know the origins, and we'll never know if it's actually true, but goddamn is it a good story to have. Pretty good stuff. The next thing that came up that might have raised some eyebrows is Remnant 2. I believe we have some fans here.
Oh yeah, very excited for this game. Yeah.
What's
and
the word?
Haters here, I understand, as we have as well.
Yeah. Should we start with the good or the bad?
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and yuck anyone's yum.
I will. You yuck my yum all the time.
Yeah, but that's not fun to do when there's guests.
You know, we're all friends around here.
All right, what do you like
big
about
excited.
It? Yeah.
I mean, build variety, world exploration, probably a returning kind of roguelite nature, really fun, solid gameplay from the first one. I haven't played Chronos, mainly because that was a VR game that then got ported to not being VR, and that can make things wonky. And but yeah, I'm really excited for Remnant. Remnant one's a really good time.
What the fuck was going on?
I love Remnant 1, and I'm excited to play Remnant 2. It's a good looter shooter if you're into, the Destinies, the Borderlands, that kind of thing. Like, I don't see why you would not like this. Definitely it feels a little bit like stilted compared to those, like the first one does anyway. Like the animations and stuff are a little stilted, but it's a really good time. And hopefully Remnant 2 is just a little more polished.
Yeah. It looks cool. Looks stylish if anything else.
Yeah, I played Remnant 1 for maybe 10 hours, and it felt like somebody started to write an essay and then just got distracted and didn't finish, and the game was a little boring and empty to me. But I'm excited to see if this sequel can expand on that and appeal to me. I do like the art style. The art style is very interesting, like the monster design. I'm always into some cool monster design.
Yeah, it does seem like something you would like, dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, I tried the first one. I gave it a whole good old college try. I guess that's the saying. I don't know.
As they say.
And it just didn't do it for me. And I even played with a friend, which normally makes all bad games good games, but it just didn't work. I don't know.
Nice. All right. Yeah. Remnant 2. I think it does look cool, and I will be excited to see what you guys think of it when it drops.
I'll be trying it.
Oh yeah.
I'll hold you to that, Colin.
Okay, dude, please.
Join in. All right. I'm going to fucking ramble, baby. So let me ask if anybody else gives a shit.
Are you starting now, or have you been going for the entire thing so far?
Right.
Yeah.
Anybody on Sonic?
I like Sonic, and this is the first 2D Sonic since then, so theoretically I'm excited, but we'll see.
I think a lot of like the reactions for this, if you watch them online, including mine, is like people going, oh my god, is it Mania? Is it Mania 2? Are they changing the art style? And then kind of slowly coming to terms with the fact that it's not Mania, which is maybe a miss. Like, just not, if you're going to do another 2D Sonic, why not Mania? But all in all, it looks really good. There are some questions that have risen already as to like the development of this game, where there's an emphasis on co-op. You can play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, very similar to a lot of the more modern Sonic games, but there is also 4-player co-op, so you can all play, but it's local only, no online. I don't know if that's like to keep development costs down or if that's going to change after Backlash, but this is a really interesting looking Sonic game. It's a 2D side scroller, 3D graphics. It kind of looks, if you had to pick something, it looks the most like the 2D Sonic Generations game like levels from classic Sonic, but there's some interesting stuff going on with the bonus levels, the 3D effects. There are some power-ups in the world, kind of similar to Mario Kart, which is fairly new for Sonic, where you can make him like run up waterfalls or turn into like a little squid that can glide around. It's just got some really interesting stuff going on, which is, I think, unique and exciting. So especially when I was not expecting any Sonic whatsoever, if anything, maybe some DLC for Frontiers. Really cool to see one of my favorite franchises ever pop up at Summer Game Fest. That was definitely... It's a big reason why I think maybe Summer Game Fest lineup is probably my favorite out of all the shows. But it's because they announced all my weirdo games. Prince of Persia, Sonic Superstars. Sometimes the stars just align. After Sonic Superstars, we got into Lies of P. Where do you guys stand on this?
Very excited. I just finished the demo this morning. It's so good.
Long.
Okay. So how big of a Tactical Dreamer? How big of a Souls fan are you? Because I'm a huge Souls fan, and I'm hesitantly optimistic about this game. I don't know if you tried Thymesia. I think it was like this time last year.
No, I know that's free, or it was free on PlayStation like last month, I think.
Yeah,
I downloaded it, but I haven't tried it.
Yeah, I want to know more about Lies of P.
Yeah, did you play the demo of Lies of P?
I have not yet. No.
Okay. You should definitely try the demo, because I'm surprised how good it feels. Because I've played Lords of the Fall, like old one, and like the Surge 2, and none of them just feel as good as FromSoft games. And this is just a step below a FromSoft game, but it feels really good. Like it is probably the best feeling non-FromSoft Souls-like.
Okay, that makes me feel better coming from a FromSoft fan, because all these games always preview, like in trailers they always look very good, but until you get your hands on the controller, it's really hard to tell how they hold up. So that makes me feel better about it.
Yeah, I have this demo downloaded. I need to make time for it.
I'm really shitty at video games, and the only like FromSoft or Souls-like game that I've ever completed is Elden Ring, and I think a large part of that was because I was able to go around and cheese and level up and make it possible for me to finish. I played an hour of Bloodborne, and I've now played more Lies of P than even Bloodborne, but I had a lot of people in my chat while I was streaming the demo, at least the first half of the demo, saying that it really does kind of evoke Bloodborne. And I think that one of the cool things about this is that it is obviously multi-platform and coming to PC, which obviously the Bloodborne has turned into a meme of like, give us a fucking PS5 patch, bring it to PC, let some other people play this game, which is like beloved. It's nice that they can go get that theme somewhere, I guess. But overall,
does this have multiplayer?
I'm not sure.
So.
Before the last boss of the demo, there's like a little pool, a summoning pool that you can drop an item into to summon a specter, but it's just like an AI specter. So I don't know if there's going to be co-op in the full release, or if that's the extent of that.
Okay.
Yeah. I would definitely recommend the demo to anybody that's even like on the fence, because I was impressed with how much content was in that demo. I streamed it for a little more than 2 hours, and there was still a lot to do. Granted, I died to the first boss 12 times, like most people, I'm sure one took it, but pretty cool. And it seemed, again, I'm not the right person to ask, but it seemed fluid, it seemed tight, it seemed like it wasn't far off from a FromSoft game, which is, I think, saying a lot for Lies of P. But we'll find out more on that soon.
Does the progress in the demo carry over to the full game?
I have heard reports both ways, so I honestly don't know. It took me 3 hours to finish that, so I kind of hope so. But at the same time, if the game comes out in 3 months, it's like I'm probably gonna want to start over anyway.
Yeah. Some sort of expanded build or something that you couldn't have during the initial thing. Yeah. Sandland was a game that kind of made me like I don't know. There's something that happens to a lot of people for probably a bunch of different reasons, but when you see Toriyama art, you sort of like fucking freak out a little bit. You're like, oh shit, fuck. Is it, it could be Dragon Ball, it could be Dragon Quest, it could be Chrono something. Like you get a little excited. And that was my first part. I was like, is this the direction that they were going with like Dragon Quest 12 was my first thought, just because of like the Toriyama art style. And I know Dragon Quest 12 is supposed to be a departure, but this is based off of like an old manga or anime that Toriyama did, and it is a very interesting looking video game. Does anyone else care?
I'm interested, but I don't know that I'm like bought in yet. Because I like a lot of those. I'm a big Dragon Quest guy after 11 won me over.
Yeah, me too.
So like I'm definitely interested, but I don't know that I'm won over yet.
It looks.
Yeah, I adore Dragon Quest. I thought this was Dragon Quest Builders 3 or something when they first.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
So I was a little disappointed it wasn't that, but I'm still excited.
Yeah, it's still tough to call like exactly what this game is going to be like. It looks like a open world Mad Max RPG, I guess. But tough to tell exactly what gameplay looks like. Mostly all that you see is like traversal in a very large sandy open world. Which, could leave something to be desired, but I guess action combat, now that I'm looking at the trailer again in the video version, interesting for sure. It's got a little bit of like the Borderlands feel to it, like Borderlands 1, but I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic, and just given that art style and given what I'm seeing so far, it looks batshit insane and is like heavily now on my radar. So Sandland is what I'm definitely looking out for. Plenty of time in between now and 2024 when it's actually going to happen. I'll let you guys take it away on Alan Wake 2.
Good job,
so
guys.
Alan Wake 2 is all three of you guys are really
I didn't want to hop in if they had something to say, but man, are you guys like Control fans? What kind of crowd am I working with here?
Control, yes, but I didn't play the first Alan Wake, and I don't know the slightly more horror aesthetic that Alan Wake goes for is really my jam.
Okay.
So I'd probably watch a lot of playthroughs of this and read about the story and do story analysis stuff, but I don't know that I'd play it.
Yeah.
I just liked Control honestly, and I played Alan Wake because I love survival horror, but like I don't know, that game. I played it in 2020, I think it was, and that game is
the remaster when it came out.
Yeah.
So I got the remaster and I never actually finished it. I need to go back and finish it. But this game from the previews, it's slower Resident Evil 4 meets like a detective, I guess a detective thriller, where you're playing as two different protagonists, Alan Wake, and then I cannot remember the new girl's name, but she's in the gameplay footage that's being shown on screen right now if you're watching the video version.
Saga. Her name is Saga.
Saga?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Cool name.
I knew it was something interesting. Yeah, it was something like that.
She's also
she's like
starring
an
in
FBI
Hellblade
agent.
too. No, I'm just kidding. A bad joke.
That was a pretty good one. I'll give that one to you. My full name is Senua Saga. Anyways, so in this short little gameplay clip, we get to see some of like the fear people, I guess, and you get to see some of the like combat, which there seems to be like a dodge button and a whole breaking their guard with your flashlight like you did in the first game. They say this is like full-on survival horror, which I'm a sucker for. I love Resident Evil, and I'm excited to see Remedy's next project after Control, because Control was amazing. It was more actiony than anything, but this is just like, from what I hear, it's survival horror, like fast, like junk food, not fast food. It's just good. I don't know. It's so beautiful. You guys can see the video, and just the environment. It's so beautiful. I can't talk on it. I don't know why I'm at a loss for words right now, but
the gameplay looks stunning. Like if that's what the final product looks like it is going to look incredible. Like it's on par with Resident Evil 4 remake, maybe. Of that.
Yeah, and one thing that really interested me was they've had some hands-on at Summer Game Fest, and they were talking about at any time you can open up a menu where you can start to build out your case and sort of do detective work which I don't know if you guys are into detective games. I am. Disco Elysium type stuff. I'm not sure how deep the detective systems will go in this game, but I'm excited to see where it goes.
Nice.
Also,
I
just
think
Remedy makes weirdo stories, and I'm into weirdo stories. So
Yeah, as long as the gameplay leans more towards a Resident Evil where you are managing,
Mhm.
well, it's like the thing that I love about Resident Evil is you constantly feel like you're about to run out, but the game is so good at
just
as long as
dropping it
you're
right
not
in
playing
front
like crap, they'll give you it back. Whereas like Alan Wake 1 at least didn't really feel like that because you were really just managing your flashlight for the most part, and I think you
yeah,
had like
the
pistol
batteries.
ammo.
Yeah, for sure.
makes sense. I think Alan Wake 2 is poised to be a very big deal. Something about the way that game looks and the resurgence of the survival horror genre over the past 5 years and how much people seem to enjoy, like, I don't know if it's streaming culture or what, but it just seems like it's bigger than ever right now. And it seems like it's also being released kind of in a lull of a time. Like, I'm not sure when that Silent Hill 2... I can't believe we didn't see Silent Hill 2 remake during Summer Game Fest at some point.
Yeah, that's really odd.
Or like the Sony show. I mean, that's like they have a third-party publishing deal with exclusivity for that too. But if that game is not making it out this year, I mean, this game comes out on October 17th. I could just see... I could see it flying off shelves at fucking like department stores, with casual people that are just catching wind of this game. These are people that aren't afraid to go out and buy Resident Evil 4 as their first game. They're not going to be afraid to buy a game called Alan Wake 2 as their first game in the series if it looks as good as it does. If they get marketing right on this, which I think they will, they've got the budget these days at Remedy after, the success of Control. I think that this is going to like become a household name is like my big theory for Alan Wake 2, which is good. I want Microsoft to feel bad about what they've done.
Yeah, which it comes out in the same month as Alone in the Dark, the new Alone in the Dark remake.
Oh yeah, I forgot that that's being rebooted.
Yeah, it's got what's his name in it? From Stranger Things. Hopper.
Yeah.
Hopper.
For sure.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Big man.
David Harbour.
David Harbour, Black Widow.
Yeah.
Warhammer Space Marine 2 had a pretty good showing. Tackle Dreamer, you're hot on this one too, right?
Yeah, I played the first one last year, and even though it is a 360 ass era game, like it's pretty fun and very like
Holds
over the
up.
top and dumb. Yeah, it holds up okay as long as you're down for 360 era ass game.
Yeah.
And this one has 3-player co-op, which I didn't know. I don't know if that was already announced or if that was an announcement here, but like I'm way more
that was the
excited
big
for
reveal.
it with 3-player co-op.
Yeah, I think that's new. I think that was a new info on it.
I think pretty cool. I mean, the original plays kind of like a Gears of War game, right? But it has a little bit more melee combat, I want to say.
Yeah, leans a little heavier on the melee.
Yeah, and I just remember like at the time, Warhammer, I think a couple of years ago had this like big movement where they were like, we're shifting away from our like throw everything at the wall and see what sticks thing, where I would still say that Warhammer puts out an overwhelming amount of content like in a given year, but if you look at like their output over the past 2 years versus the 2 years prior to that, you can tell that there was a change in like I think quality, where overall the Warhammer games that come out tend to be better than they used to be. And I remember this one sticking out as being like the shining beacon of outside of like the top down like Warhammer strategy games. It was all about Warhammer 40k Space Marine when it dropped on 360 back in the day and being like a surprise hit. So cool this one is coming out, and I think that it's one of those games that I don't know if it ends up becoming a crossover hit, but I bet this game reviews well and turns heads when it comes out. Like I feel like it's going to be one of those games that people aren't exactly excited for, but when it actually comes out and starts getting 8s around the board, people are like, oh shit, I gotta check this out. Especially 3-player co-op will be a selling point. So
yeah,
pretty good.
It looks like it's got some Left 4 Dead inspirations and just the hordes of enemies running at you. I'm not sure how the original was, but I'm into that. I'm always into those Left 4 Dead type games. Speaking of those, quickly, John Carpenter's something
Toxic Commando.
Toxic Commando. I could not remember that name.
We didn't put a slide in there, but if you guys want to talk about it, let's go for it.
It looks cool.
Yeah, it looks cool. I want more from John Carpenter when he's always talking about like Dead Space and whatnot. I feel like he could do much more hardcore horror stuff in the mainstream.
I coined the term toxic commando as meaning somebody who can't control their bowels and doesn't wear underwear. You're going toxic commando. Is this something?
Interesting life decisions.
It's the IBS, dude. It's the IBS.
Let's move on to just a little blip, just a little fart in the Summer Game Fest show.
Don't you dare call this. Don't call this game a little fart. I swear to God.
It was a weird showing. They had nothing really new to show except for a couple pieces of concept art, which looked nice, admittedly, like our first full look at Venom. And then the actual key art, which makes my life, as somebody who makes fucking thumbnails all the time, a lot easier, because I've been making fake, weird Marvel Spider-Man 2 thumbnails for the last fucking year.
2 years, 3 years, yeah.
Yeah, with like 2
you
pictures.
Called it a little fart, man.
It was a little fart. A little fart on the radar. It was very small. Like all they did was come out and say, "Look at our cool game. Here's 2 pieces of art, and here's when it's coming out," which is the big deal.
Venom looks really cool. He's got his dogs out.
Yes.
And the statue, the collector's edition statue, looks beautiful, and I cannot wait to have it sitting right beside my other collector's edition statue back there.
October 20th, 3 days after Alan Wake. Maybe if it's short, you can do both.
If Alan Wake's short?
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, October's packed. Also,
good month.
Lords of the Fallen, Assassin's Creed much.
Oh,
yeah, seriously. October's the new November. I feel like when we were all younger, it was like November was just the dumping ground for games, and they have like officially said basically like no, it's now October, November is when all the holiday season games come out. We're not scared. We're not scared.
October's
of
the new
Game
February.
Yeah. Yep. 2023 is a landmark year. All right, let's move on, because now we've spent too much time on. We gave more time to Spider-Man 2 on our show than Jeff Keighley did on his show, and that's not fair.
I hate you.
Pal World. Let's spend more time on Pal World. Oh baby, this looks so fucking cool. What the hell?
Pokemon with guns.
Yeah, so we had already seen Pal World before, but goddamn, dude, does this game aim to impress? Like, there's something for everyone here. Who's playing Pal World on day one?
Probably, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Probably.
I just don't know like what there is to really like say about it. We don't really actually have to spend a bunch of time on it, but it just like, hey, what's the other? Do you guys know the name of the other game that this team is working on? The guys, well, not the exact team, but Black Desert Online creators are putting out this game. It looks like it's like a K-pop open world island game with a really funky name.
Oh my gosh, yes, I know.
It popped up at like Summer Game Fest. They did like a K-pop performance.
If you hadn't have said this, I would have known.
DokeV.
DokeV,
yeah, DokeV. It looks similar where like both of those games, they kind of just look like impossibly good, where you're like, what's the catch? You know?
Like, give the freaking elevator pitch for this game, dude.
I already did. It's Pokemon with guns.
No, you didn't. I don't think you said that. If you did, I'd
it's
Pokemon with guns.
Yeah. It just looks cool. It just looks cool.
It just looks weird, and the designs, like, there have been a lot of creature collectors lately that are emulating Pokemon, but the designs look really close to Pokemon. Like, some of them actually look like parodies of Pokemon.
Yeah. You could do a little mini show with me, like saying like pick the Pokemon between Pal World and actual Pokemon, and
that's a good bit. Yeah, that's a good show.
I would not be able to do it.
You know what's just like what's really interesting about it when you're comparing it to Pokemon is that, and I love it. I love Pokemon. One of my favorite franchises ever. Hugely influential on me as a human and gamer. But not the most like beautiful of games, especially as it's made its transition to 3D. So when it comes to creature collectors, Pokemon's usually the cream of the crop. Like, can you guys think of one that like 3D wise looks better than Pokemon Scarlet and Violet or Arceus?
Temtem. Yeah, aesthetically, if you just want to go for looks better, Temtem looks better.
But I think Pal World, as far as like graphical fidelity goes, it's like the nicest looking creature collector we've ever seen is basically what it kind of has going for it, which is why it's kind of interesting to draw comparisons.
And so clearly with the guns, a hopefully more adult perspective than a lot of creature collectors tend to go for.
That's what I was going to ask is like, this is not an American dev studio, correct? Like, I feel like this should come out of America, if anything.
For sure.
Like, teach your kids to have guns early. Am I right? Like
typically, America more violent, rest of the world sexier is usually the way the development goes. Like if you look at Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter is sexy, Mortal Kombat violent. Versus America, man. I don't make the rules. I mean, just telling it like it is.
That's who we are.
Speaking of sexy, Lord of the Rings Return to Moria. Let's talk about dwarves. I'm kind of into this. I like that this game is like not trying to be more than it is. Like you don't look at this and you're like, well, here's a $70 AAA game. It's not that. Like this is a.
Do we have a price?
What's the popular dwarf game? No, we don't.
Deep Rock Galactic.
Deep Rock Galactic.
Deep Rock Galactic.
Yeah.
Like this is that. It's that crowd, right? Like it's like a.
As a DRG fan, I looked at this and was like, "Oh, I'm totally down for high fantasy Deep Rock as opposed to sci-fi Deep Rock."
100%. Yeah. I think it looks really cool, and it just looks like one of those games where, like, I don't know, you already know the squad you're gonna play with this. Like, you've got your friends picked out for Lord of the Rings: Return to Moria already. Like, you're ready to go because you're digging for stuff, you're building stuff, you're doing goofy things in co-op, you're probably having a blast, you're probably 75% paying attention to the game and 25% having a conversation or watching something else on the other screen. Like, it just looks like a cool way to wrap around this type of video game.
I told you to keep the camera out of my room, Jake. All right, you don't need to be spilling the secrets that deeply about my gaming sessions.
It looks like it's a Epic Game Store exclusive on PC.
At least at launch.
At least at launch, yeah.
Makes sense.
Give it 6 months.
Yeah.
You gotta get that bag.
You know what? Respect the hustle.
No, for sure.
Yep.
But at some point, for sure, if I don't pick it up at launch, if my crew decides to wait for the Steam release, I'll be picking that up and we'll be building some stuff in.
Yeah, would make a great Game Pass game. We'll get to Game Pass.
Yeah,
that would be a killer Game Pass game. Let's talk about Banishers Ghosts of New Eden, a game that was definitely on my list and you guys didn't have me add.
Yeah, absolutely. Banishers Ghosts of New Eden, it has combat that I would say is similar to almost God of War like is what it looked like in the trailer. It is a love story between you and like your ghost wife. I'm gonna read like the pitch for it real quick, just so you guys get a good idea of it. New Eden, 1695. Antea Darte, I butchered that name, and Red McWraith are lovers and banishers, ghost hunters who vow to protect the living from the threat of lingering ghosts and specters. Following in a disastrous last mission, Antea is fatally wounded, becoming one of the spirits she loathes. So it's an action game with a story based between the dude that you're playing and his dead lover. There's a really nice collector's edition where they're holding hands, and it's 1000% up my alley because I like corny little love stories that are drenched in blood and guts and gore and weird ghost things. But yeah, if you watch the gameplay trailer, it does remind me of God of War. It's like a AA studio attempting to do a AAA combat system with the God of War stuff. And I just like these dark, grimy games. It really gives me a Plague Tale vibes, just the graphical fidelity.
Yeah.
But it's Don't Nod, by the way, which made the earlier Life is Strange games, which I adore. So
yeah, Don't Nod is like maybe my hesitation with the game because they do have a spotty track record.
Absolutely,
I think Life is Strange is great, but most of their other stuff is like, they're a AA studio trying to do AAA games, like you said, and it doesn't always pan out. So
yeah, they did a Vampire, which I liked. They do really good like choice based stuff, in a good scope. I feel like, so I'm excited. They also recently put out Harmony: The Fall of Reverie, which came out with a resounding thud, from what I could tell. So we'll see.
Classic. Anything else on Banishers?
One last thing. Jasant. I don't think that was on our list to talk about today, but that's also Don't Nod.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
okay, we'll get to
that's
that.
That's at the Microsoft show. Yeah. Which I'm hot on. Whatever.
Sorry, I got lost. There's so many.
All right. Well, it's time for fucking JT's hype session for Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. I've talked about this game a bunch. Are you guys Final Fantasy VII fans? Colin, I know you're kind of, but huge. Yeah.
I don't know why you always say that. I love Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Kind of. Yeah, but you love Remake. You don't love 7. You probably do.
Remake.
You just don't know it.
I came to 7 really late, but still loved it. Like I played it in like 2014. Still a good game.
Yeah. Have you seen Advent Children?
I've seen Advent Children. I saw that long before I played Final Fantasy VII, which was very confusing.
Me too. Stubbs, anything for you?
No, haven't played 7 or Remake yet.
Got it. It's okay. So Ever Crisis has this game was supposed to be out like a year and a half ago. It's a mobile RPG. They always use this like phrase, another remake, and it's basically a more faithful adaptation of the Final Fantasy VII story, sort of remade the way that you might envision like a remaster of Final Fantasy VII to be done, that follows the story of not only Final Fantasy VII, but also before Crisis, after fucking Crisis, Crisis Core, Dirge of Cerberus, Advent Children, 7 Remake itself. It does all of these stories, and it is going to be episodic and a gacha game. So like, here's the thing, like, we're gonna have to take all of this with a grain of salt. It's not gonna be a perfect fucking video game by any means. It's going to be one of those things where, like, I played more hours than I'd like to admit of First Soldier, like the fucking mobile battle royale set in the Final Fantasy VII universe, and I had a great time playing it. But it is definitely going to be a game that is like free to start. They're gonna nickel and dime you on like, oh, do you want the Dirge of Cerberus pack? I'll be like, yes, Dad. I would like that. And they'll be like, do you want to fucking roll for 3 boxes to see if you get the Vincent Valentine uniform? I'll be like, yes, I do want that. Like, it's like, do you want Tifa in her default clothes, or do you want to try for sexy dress, but also you're gonna open it and just get like 4 different types of knuckle weapons that you can combine to make one like slightly better knuckle weapon than what you have? Yeah, it's gonna be one of those for sure. It'll be messy, but I'm looking forward to it. And you guys gonna touch this?
This game was announced when First Soldier was, and First Soldier has come out, been canceled, and disappeared before this game comes out.
I know. So have my in-app purchases. All right. First Soldier. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say I was more excited for this before this showcase. Like,
I get it.
I knew it was a mobile game, but I did not know it was gonna be this mobile. Like, I don't know if I'll play it at this point.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough sell. I feel like what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to carve out my little corner of the internet, and like, if I can just like get everything done correctly with my capture card and like an iPad and a Bluetooth controller and a HDMI out, like, to actually stream this to people, so that for me it's a very weird experience where I'm playing off of an iPad with a weird like third-party controller, but for them it's like you're watching somebody stream the Final Fantasy VII game that's not that easily absorbable. It could be like good content, but in the long run I think it's a really fucking tough sell, and it probably won't have legs to finish the entire story that it's setting out to tell. Like, it's a very lofty ambitions to go out and tell the story of like 6 different full fucking games in a bite-sized package with microtransactions. I just don't know if it'll ever be able to do it. But what I was just going to say briefly is that they went for like a hyper realistic, like, I guess, Final Fantasy VII remake style graphics for that First Soldier game. And then at one point during like season 3, like 6 months before the game fucking shut down, they had like classic packs where you could get like polygonal Cloud and polygonal fucking Zack and Aerith stuff. I definitely fed them $30, and I ended up getting like.
That's along the lines of the only one of the questions I have for this game is, I watched the gameplay and there's like chibi characters, and then like Final Fantasy VII remake characters, and then like almost like PS3 character looking models.
There's 3 different art styles basically, where like when you're on the field map, it is like chibi. It kind of just looks like an enhanced version of like what Final Fantasy VII was going for. Which is like your base art style, and then it's the same thing when you're traversing the overworld. You will run into random battles. At that point, it will pop you into a turn-based battle system, again more similar to the original Final Fantasy VII, but using remakes graphical style, so everything is more like hyper realistic, which is not unlike what they did in Final Fantasy VII as well. And then the last part is like the little talking heads, so like when someone's dialogue is up, it's like a 2D art style as well for their like character portrait is what I want to say. They're not talking heads. Too much time spent on Ever Crisis. Sorry. let's move on. Where are you guys at on Like a Dragon?
I love Like a Dragon. I love Yakuza. Played all of them. So I'm excited
Hell
about
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Like a Dragon's the only one I've played. I haven't beaten it, but I've sunk a good 40 hours into it and love it. I should try to find the another 40 to 60 hours to beat it, but
Yeah.
I don't know where I'll find it. That's
Is it the best named game of all of Summer Game Fest? I think it's so cool. The man who erased his name, like the artwork is nice. Like I like it. I don't know why it's doing it for me.
It's a cool name. Yeah. Yeah, and this is the one that's like, I mean, similar to Ishin, throwing back to the old style of like brawler. Like this is not an RPG.
Yeah, yeah, and this is a guidance, so it takes place in between or during Like a Dragon 7, with Yakuza 7, if you will. So Ichiban's story is happening, and then this is what's happening with Kiryu, the protagonist of the first 7 games, if you include 0 all the way through 6, and then 8, which we saw a first trailer for, and we'll cycle back to it a little bit, is going to bring those 2 stories together, I believe.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Tactical Dreamer, do you prefer the brawler style gameplay, or do you like the switch that they made to?
I like that they switched to RPG. I love a good turn-based RPG. I'm totally down for it. I did still enjoy Ishin when it came out earlier this year, though. Just like the absurdity of these games with really heartfelt, emotional stories at the same time. Like, it's just so good.
Yeah, these are games that I like. You ever just know that a game is for you, but you just haven't gotten to it yet? That's me with the Like a Dragon series. Is basically where I'm at. Yeah, at some point I'm gonna spend 500 hours literally and play all of these, but I'm just not sure.
If you hadn't wasted all that time on Xenoblade, you would have played them by now.
Well, I gotta drop Colin from this call and make a new thing up for just 3 people.
I'm sorry.
Talk to me about Under the Waves.
Under the Waves, it is made by Parallel Studios, and it is published by Quantic Dream. Like, they have a little sub publishing name. It's called Q Spotlight. That's it. So it's a little indie dev game it makes me think of Firewatch Underwater with a little bit of Subnautica in there, because you're underwater, of course. But it is from their website, it's a single player narrative driven adventure game. So extremely descriptive right there. It's not only like 80% of the games out on the market right now. But I don't know if anyone out there has played White Knight or Dark Days. Those are some of the studio's previous titles. They're very like they're like stuff that would pop up at like Ludo Narrative Con or whatever. So it's very like psychological type weird stuff that you wouldn't really be into, Jake. But yeah, Under the Waves. It feels like a vibe out game, honestly. One that will make you sit down and be a little bit depressed, but appreciate that you played it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at a pretty interesting one for me. Lisfanga? Did this pop up on anybody else's list?
Yeah,
it
was on my list. It's weird.
Yeah, what did you think? It's unique.
Yeah, the art style kind of reminds me of Banner Saga. Is initially why it stood out to me, because I love Banner Saga.
Yep.
I don't know. What do you like about it?
So I kind of was given some Hades vibes, which happens a couple times throughout this weekend. Like, you can tell that game made a big splash and people have tried to do it. And gameplay wise, it seems to be similar too, but the hook is, it's basically you go through and you're running. I'm not sure if it's roguelike or if it's like individual level design, or if it's like, I don't know exactly the hook, but essentially you run through, you're doing melee or action combat of some sort, and then you rewind time, a shadow of yourself runs out and does exactly what you did, and you make another run as yourself again and coincide your attacks with that shadow of you. And I think you do that up to 3 times, and you're kind of at the same time solving puzzles as doing combat. Just looks really unique. Okay, I'm looking now at the shadows, and there's like at least 6 or 7 of them.
There's like 8 of them.
It just looks cool. It just looks unique.
It gives me like Last Clockwinder vibes, but combat based.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a competitive shooter that had like a similar concept too. That I don't think ever got off the ground really, but
You're
Yeah, I
right.
remember seeing that game before it came out, and I could not. If you put a gun to my head and told me to say the name, I
could
wouldn't be
never
able
tell
to
you
do
the
it.
name. Absolutely
Yeah.
not.
The definitely Hades, but the also the idea of like setting up moves and then doing it again
Yeah.
feels very Transistor.
Okay,
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is probably my favorite game from that studio, so that's appealing to me.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Good shit.
Hades 2, surprisingly not shown anywhere. I was
Yeah,
kind
I
of
had that. I thought for sure that like that game would have some sort of like early access trailer, especially because like I don't know how much needs to be done. It looked very playable last time they showed Hades at the announcement trailer, and
Yeah.
with a company that's very very interested in letting that game go into early access, I thought for sure that we would see it potentially get like an early access date at Keighley's event, the follow-up event
Yeah.
essentially to the Game Awards where it was announced. But
yeah.
can't make it. And then what I would probably call the biggest get that Keighley's ever had at any of his events, maybe Elden Ring at the Game Awards 2 years
Elden Ring, I
ago
think, was bigger.
was probably be bigger, but I think impressive relationship, like I don't know, he hasn't had a previous relationship with like Square Enix this way, or Nomura, I don't think. Keighley fucking snagged Rebirth's re-reveal to the public, man. And it fucking slapped. I think I did myself a disservice on not calling this game of the show, because if I am really putting it down, Prince of Persia was the biggest surprise, but seeing this here really gets me going. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, outside of Kingdom Hearts 4, is probably my most anticipated video game to come out. I am red hot on 7 remake and 7 everything, and the fucking trailer that they put out for this game looked unbelievable. Let me throw it to Tactical Dreamer because I know you're in on it. Where do you stand on the Rebirth footage that was shown?
I'm incredibly excited. Like they all but confirmed with like the radial map thing at the top that it's open world, which everyone was saying like, there's no way they do that because that
So
would be
cool.
a lot. But it seems like they
Mhm.
did it, which is very exciting. And it is the best way that they can be true to that, original game, even though they're not really being true to that original game we already know from remake. But I'm incredibly excited. The only thing I really want compared to remake from Rebirth is like just more characters. Like let me play as Red 13, not just an assist character. Give me the other party members.
And they're giving that actually pops up. It's a really small section, but there is playable Red 13 in this trailer, which is fucking awesome, which gets me so ridiculously excited. I guess the other thing that I'm really hoping for in this game, and it seems to be there, is like, so Yuffie blows everybody else out of the party, like out of the water when it comes to like controlling a character. Like if you've played Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate on PS5 or on PC, playing as Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, or Barret is very, very good. But after playing Yuffie and then going back to those characters, they feel like they are missing like a big part of what makes Yuffie's combat engaging. Like she's so versatile, which comes from her being the only playable character. But if they're bringing her into the game, they need to work on the kits for every other character to make it good. And they are doing some of the expansion stuff that's displayed here that they were kind of like, I guess, demoing in Integrate, where you have like the team up attacks with Sonon. And Sonon, I've always theorized, has basically been like a stand-in for who will eventually be Sid. Like you work on Sonon's kit, who fights with a bow staff, and then all of those moves that you gave to Sonon can eventually be used for Sid when he makes it into the game. Timing wise, I assume we get
no spoilers, bro.
Red 13 and then probably Cat Shi in this game. My big theory is basically that we're going to end up getting almost the entire party given to us in Final Fantasy VII outside of Vincent and Sid. And then even though continuity wise it wouldn't work, but I think like you'll pass that time and then travel back to it, probably get a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth standalone DLC with Vincent, which will get you all of Vincent's backstory and let you kind of intertwine with the events of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And then when you load into whatever the final game in the trilogy is, that's when you pick up Sid, your last playable character, and you have your entire party at your disposal. But goddamn, what a fucking showing of this game. It really, I think the coolest part about it is that outside of a couple blips in Final Fantasy VII Remake, pretty bland looking video game. Like a lot of it is like bluish, greenish, metallic vibes. You're just in Midgar pretty much the whole time. You have Aerith's house and you have like the museum inside the Shinra HQ and like little splashes of color. But the actual overworld of Gaia looks so good. Really, really cool stuff. Anything else that you guys noticed?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, how do you think they Metroid you in this game? because like I feel like they have to recite you to using fire and cure and all
Oh, that
crap.
sucks.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
It'll be a
I
cutscene.
think
with
you know what it's gonna
Sephiroth
be. I got it. I
something
got the fucking answer. I got the answer. Yuffie's gonna join the party. Yuffie steals materia.
That's
She's
right.
gonna steal. She's gonna steal everybody's fucking materia. It's canon. It's canon activity. That's what she does. She's a thief and she's a materia hunter. She's gonna steal everybody's materia and then get into some hijinks slapstickery that leads to her losing everybody's materia, so that they all have to start fresh.
Do you
Boom.
want to make a
That
bet?
makes sense.
Do you want to make a bet?
I'd
on
take that bet. Yeah, I'd put a lot on that.
Yeah, I'll take that
You
bet.
have to- all right. If
I think
I'm
it's
right,
something
then
else.
You.
That's my bet.
So I have to be exactly right.
Anything
and you
else.
have to get anything else.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And if I win, you have to play all of Final Fantasy VII and original. And if you win, nothing, because you have all the other options. I'll
If
drink
I
water
win-
only for a week.
If I win, you have to play Citizen Sleeper 2 all the way through.
No, not all the way through. I'll play Citizen Sleeper 2, just like I
No
played
bet.
Citizen Sleeper
No
1.
bet.
All right, fine.
No. Two things.
Yeah.
I noticed whenever I was watching the stream that there is a marker in one of the gameplay segments that is 11,000 meters away from you.
Hell yeah, dude.
11,000.
like.
So it's going to be a large world. And with that, I would not be surprised if this game comes out locked at 30 frames, similar to Starfield, just from the scope of it. That would not surprise me.
Didn't Integrate already? It did good. Integrate.
Yeah, but it's not an open world with 11,000 meters worth of.
If that's the
stuff,
case,
you know?
I bet that the open world, if so, will maybe struggle a little bit and not be locked at 60 or anything. But I bet when you get into a more enclosed area, when you enter, like, Juon or whatever, the harbor area.
I hope I'm wrong, just because
Yeah.
I need 60 at this point to play a game and enjoy it.
An action game, especially.
Especially, yeah. I don't care. Knock the resolution down to 1080p. I don't care, but I just want that 60 frames.
I think they figure that out.
I hope so, and I would say PS5 SSD, blah blah blah, will hopefully help, but we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. PS5 exclusive again.
Yeah.
Really cool. Really cool. Early 2024. Can't wait. All right. And that was the end of Summer Game Fest. We are officially 1/6 of the way through this. I'm just kidding. This was a dense part of it for sure. All right. So after Summer Game Fest, we jumped into some of the crazier stuff in between SGF and the Xbox conference, starting with the Wholesome Direct, which was honestly had more going on than I thought it would have. There was some cool stuff to talk about there. But oh wait, I'm skipping something. We had the Devolver and the what
Day
came
of the
else? Help me
Dead.
out. Day of the Okay.
Yeah.
So the next thing that I have on my list was to talk about Viewfinder. Have you guys played the demo?
No.
I didn't play the demo.
All
I'm
right.
very
Well,
interested in
you
the
guys,
same,
you guys table set. What's this all about?
though. You like take pictures of things, but then you can transpose the images you took pictures of into the world to traverse and solve puzzles, is my understanding.
Very trippy.
That is indeed it. It is a fucking wild time. Like, it really takes you a little while to adjust. Like, it reminded me of like the first time playing Portal, where like you need to like train your brain. And more recently Zelda, like getting accustomed to like the way that some of those things work, like how to understand what you can use rewind for and ultra hand for. Like Viewfinder, when you're changing perspectives and putting things into that world and then hopping through one of the pictures that you take, is wild. Really fucking cool video game. It is definitely a like show don't tell type of game. I feel bad trying to make you guys explain it. It is a game that is very worth playing though, and I cannot stress enough that it's got like it's tough to tell. Like, I say it's a 30-minute demo, but I'm sure once you know the solutions, you could play through that demo in fucking 5 minutes. But it took me 35 minutes to play. It's out right now, and it is really fucking cool. It had a lot of like jaw-dropping moments, not only for me, but also for my chat, of being like, oh my god, that makes sense. Like, there was just like thinking in terms of how this game works. Like, I needed 2 batteries to power a generator, and I spent so much time looking for a second battery, and the answer was take a picture of the battery and walk into that picture and take the picture and take the battery that you took the picture of,
crazy.
and then pull out of it and then go put it on. Like it really is some fucking special shit.
I cannot imagine the like technical prowess going on behind the scenes.
I
to
have
make this work.
no idea how it works. I have a like TikTok, YouTube short, Instagram reel, amazingstreamer.com to see where that all lives.
I love it. It's genius.
It's so stupid, but honestly, it's the best thing I've ever done for plugs. Like, just go to amazingstreamer.com. You can find everything you want. And,
don't ever tell Jake I said this, but I do think it's a good idea as well. I'm mad I didn't think of it first.
You too can get a URL. It's very easy to do and fairly cheap. But I think that the coolest thing is like the way that the atmosphere changes. It's not really shown in this trailer all that much, but a lot of things kind of look like a monotone aesthetic, when in reality there are a lot of different things that you traverse through. So like you'll see like a black and white photo and then like a regular photo, but there are also like at one point you pick up a photo that like a kid drew and you're walking through like a poorly drawn house made of crayon, like just rolling through that environment. At one point you're in like a watercolor painting, which I think is really cool. Another one is like you walk into like remember like the old like Windows 95 and 98 screensavers where it's like traveling through like a maze, like you're in one of those things. Just some really cool shit. Viewfinder.
Yeah, it's along the lines of like Superliminal or Maquette. Those types of puzzle games.
Yep. Another really big one. I have no shot of telling you what this game is about or what's going on in it, but what's going on with Cocoon?
This is a weird one. It's from like the lead designer, one of the lead designers on Limbo and Inside. This is the main reason I'm interested. But it's like you are solving puzzles, but you're solving puzzles in an orb, and at any time you can like find more orbs to go deeper into another orb, and then you're in another world within the world, and then you can also at any time like grab things from inside of the world you're in and bring them out to the world above, and who knows how deep that goes. Very, Inception. I don't know how many layers there are, but just seems really interesting, like an interesting concept for a puzzle game. So I'm excited to try it. Hopefully there's a demo at some point.
Yeah,
looks fucking crazy. And a lot of people have like been raving about it. Like, as coverage came out from like the days of play at Summer Game Fest, this is one of the games that people are putting at the top of their list of like, you have to try it, you have to play it to believe it type of games. It kind of gives me a little bit of like Tunic vibes. Like in that it doesn't seem like it's explaining it's not explaining much to you. It's a lot of like going around and fucking with things and pounding on the box until we figure out what the box does type of stuff. I wonder if it will sniff its own farts as much. No, I'm just kidding. That's a Tunic joke.
This is like a kind of game that I will never play because my brain just like, I like to go dumb mode when I'm playing games, and this is going to require so much thought that I will never play it, but I'm so happy games like these are being made.
Yeah.
A lot going on. Anything else on Cocoon? I'm
just watching the gameplay that you're
playing
right now. And I'm like, oh,
it's cool as fuck. Next thing I have is indeed from the Wholesome Games. We get into Paladins, which is a combination between buskers and paladins.
Is that old the old Epic game, Paladins?
That's the one, the Overwatch knockoff. Yeah, R.I.P. No, I think that game's still going. I'm not sure. It's inspired by like tabletop RPGs, but if you look at like the B-roll footage that we have on the video version, if you look up a trailer, it is essentially like the Paper Mario aesthetic. It looks really, really slick, and it's got your standard RPG fodder as far as like building up your town and whatnot. But for the most part, it just looks like it's kind of filling a void that I think needs to be filled. Not enough.
Did you say building a town?
Yeah, like getting like a merchant to come move in and upgrading the merchant so that it does more shit, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Paladins, run, don't walk. The next game that I have is Station to Station. Yeah. All right, nerds, let's go. I will.
Nerdy as shit.
I was not on this.
I nearly jumped out of my chair, honestly. When the trailer started, I was pretty hyped. I'm big on logistical games. It scratches a part of my brain that just like it puts me in this zen state, and it's great to just come home after work and just be like, and just manage roadways and cargo and all that like mini motorways on
motorways.
Yeah, this
mini
just
metro.
feels like a more built up mini metro, mini motorways. And I really like the voxel aesthetic or the pixel aesthetic, however you want to call it, but I like the way the game looks as well. I'm excited.
Yeah, it makes me think mini metro mixed with teardown. Super into it. I literally just said that I like to shut my brain off whenever I'm playing games, but this kind of like management transportation sim type thing really gets me going.
I'm gonna drop a lot of hours in this. I know it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
very nice. Station to station. Let's move on to Beastie Ball. This shit looks so cool, man. Beastie Ball is the next game from the devs of Chicory, I think. Yes. Which seems like a pretty rapid fucking departure, man. Drastic departure. But think Pokemon plus volleyball and you have Beastie Ball. That's all I needed to hear.
Exactly. That's all I needed to know.
I'm day one on this thing.
Yeah, which this is it's getting a Kickstarter soon, I think. It's like that's how early in development they are right now, but
I can't wait. I mean there's not much more to it. Like I feel like I kind of covered it when I said Pokemon plus volleyball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not my thing, but sure.
Let's just sit here and watch the trailer in silence. It's so cool.
I think this is great podcasting.
Everybody's mesmerized. Too good. Beastie Ball. Smooshy. Come home. Smooshy. What do you guys know about this?
This is just a cute 3D platformer. Ryan, you actually played it or saw it played, right?
Yeah. Preston played this when we went to PAX East. He was real hot on getting a chance to play it. And really, think of just exploration Breath of the Wild indie game. Basically, you've got a little stamina bar, you glide around the world, you're just picking up collectibles and 3D platformers. Very zen, very relaxed, just kind of like a warm blanket of a video game, just very comforting.
It
reminds
little
me
Gator
of
Games vibes.
A short hike kind of.
Yeah, like short hike, little Gator game.
Little Gator game.
Yeah. Right up those vibes.
And it's out.
Yeah,
Shadow Drop.
It was Shadow Drop.
Yeah, you can just go get this, which is cool. Yep. And I actually didn't really know that until I was just looking up B-roll and it said launch trailer. And I wrote it on a big Post-it and stuck it to my monitor because I'm going to mash this game. That's right up my alley, man.
Is this on console as well?
Yeah, I just pulled the video from Nintendo's YouTube page.
Okay. This is like a perfect platinum game for me. So if it comes out on PlayStation. Good shit.
Toaster Ball, anybody?
Toaster Ball.
So sick. Like it's so stupid, but also fucking yes, dude. Give it to me.
Permanent addition to party game night. Like from one trailer, like I want this in the party game night rotation. It looks like a wild time with a riot. It just looks like a riot of a video game, and I always want more of those.
Have you guys ever played a game? This is like the most obscure thing. I used to forget the name all the time, and now I'll never forget it. But this is basically, it's like a very dumbed down version of volleyball, right? Like Toaster Ball.
There was like a basketball mode, and like they had a couple different hoops and or nets to be scoring into.
Yeah. In the very early days of the Xbox 360 arcade, in the indie games that came out for that, there was a game called They Came From the Ground, which was just these like little balls of goop that were on either side, and you would control that ball and then just like knock it back and forth, which is very similar to like I think the regular gameplay of Toaster Ball. But still to this day, I have it installed on my 360, and you're unable to re-download it. If my 360 ever crashes, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. But this game it's like everything to me. And every time I have like people over to do multiplayer game nights, I hook up my old fucking 360 that sounds like a small jet engine is taking off, and we play They Came From the Ground. And it's one of those games where like you put the controller in their hand and everybody understands everything about the game within 10 seconds and loves it, and it's like, okay, let's have a tournament.
Yeah.
Very good shit.
It kind of reminds me of volleyball version of Pool Panic. Has anybody played Pool Panic?
Oh.
It's like an Adult Swim published game that's like pool. It's a party game about pool, but it's different like variations on playing pool.
I've seen this game played on YouTube. I've seen Pool Panic. But okay. This toaster ball.
It's really cool shit, man.
Oh my god.
I'm very in on toaster ball.
It kind of gives me like almost dive kick vibes. It's just like the bare basics of a genre.
Yeah. Or like boomerang foo almost. Something along those lines. Yeah.
Yep. What about Karma Zoo?
Karma Zoo is cool. I'm really interested to see how it comes together, but basically you have 50 different characters that all have one ability that they do, and you're trying to combine those abilities to solve puzzles in a side-scrolling platformer.
It's from the Devolver show,
very cute art style too. Yeah, from Devolver.
Yeah, it's got that.
I mean, Devolver, I feel like rarely misses. So
for sure, if it's like Devolver makes like a bunch of stuff and casts a wide net, but if you see something from them and it's up your alley, it's a pretty sure bet. Like you can probably bank on it being exactly what you thought it would be. But yeah, it does look cool. That's an interesting one. Outside of that, I think we have Aurora. Oh, Everdeep, right?
Everdeep Aurora.
Okay.
Everdeep.
The font's the font. If you're looking at it, you can see it.
I see it. I get it.
Cherokee.
16-bit little side scroller Metroidvania. Very Hollow Knight, but in a 16-bit vibe. They talked about all the extravagant characters to meet. The worlds feel like they're kind of monochromatic as you get to different areas. It's backdropped by a specific color, the way Hollow Knight does a lot of its worlds. This looks like a very good time. The platforming looks solid. I'm excited to meet all these little characters. You play as a cute little cat. Look at that little kitty.
Yeah,
looks like Richard.
It does. He's right over here. He's sleeping. It does look cool, and it looks like you switch between like a 4:3 and a 16:9 aspect ratio depending on the environment that you're in too. Like there's some interesting stuff going on. Keep my eyes on it.
Like discussion question. Do you guys think that like Metroidvanias are kind of saturated right now?
No, because Metroidvanias are really hit or miss. Honestly, I feel like there's because I've played a good handful of them, and there's some that I love, and there's some that I just don't. I don't even really like Metroid.
Okay. I mean that's fair.
But I think I don't think it's too bad yet.
I think it's pretty oversaturated personally. To the point that like it has to do something amazing or like look incredible with the art style. Like this one I'm interested in because the art style looks really cool. But like, what is the Christmas one? We'll talk about it later. That one's I'm not particularly interested in that.
There was one recently that was announced called Ultros. It's like Metroidvania on acid, the super colorful one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's like I'm sure that's for some people, but
I think that was like
honestly,
the Nintendo Indie World or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. The next Metroidvania I'm waiting for is just Silk Song. Nothing has done it for me like Hollow Knight did.
It's a Persia.
I think if anything, we're oversaturated with farming games because we're not talking.
Absolutely,
yeah. While we're not talking about them from the Wholesome Direct, there were about 45 new farming games.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's right now. It's Metroidvanias, farming, and roguelikes. That's like the three big indie pillars right now.
Yeah.
Yep. For sure. Let's get into the future game show. Not a whole lot came from this, but there's one that I'm really hot on, and it's Resistor, and it was being plugged as a car PG. But what gets me for this is not so much the art style as much as it is the gameplay. It looks like it's like the classic like Burnout gameplay, even though it's not just like straight up arcade racing. There is a big emphasis on like again, I don't want to say like car combat because it's not Twisted Metal. You're not shooting rockets at other cars, but it's a lot about like taking down other cars, shunting, if you will, if you know your racing game terms, and boosting. And it just looks really fucking fun. Like just really over the top, really stupid, but it's on my radar. We'll see what it comes out, what the price is, and if it reviews well. Resistor might be something you see me get into.
Yeah. I'm really glad you called that out because I missed it. I didn't get to see the Future Games case, and that is definitely something that it is right up my alley as well.
Yeah.
Looks like something I totally enjoy.
Pretty cool. Lords of the Fallen, not to be confused with Lords of the Fallen, not to be confused with the Lords of the Fallen. This is Lords of the Fallen. Everybody on the same page?
It's very clear.
Yeah.
To everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is they called it during the presentation like they're rebooting the franchise, I think they said, but it's only had one game, so that's weird. But
Yeah.
But it looks cool. The art is incredible. And the thing that was new here that I don't think they had talked about previously is like they have a kind of a Sekiro Shadows Die Twice kind of thing where when you die, you come back to life in the same place, but in an alternate like version of the world, like the undead version of the world, basically, which you can also access anytime by sacrificing your second life. And you would need to go to this world to traverse certain areas and solve puzzles and stuff as well, which it just seems really cool.
Yeah, that's a cool mechanic.
Yeah, it seems like they're combining The Medium by Team Bloober with like Souls like gameplay. So I'm super into this. They said that this was like they had really weird phrasing. It was a reboot, but it's in the same universe as the Lords of the Fallen 2013. This is just like 10,000 years down the line.
Sorry, you mean Lords
crazy.
of the Fallen 2014?
Or
not
the Lords of the Fallen.
Fallen.
Sorry, Lords of the Fallen.
the.
This was the Lords of the Fallen, but now it's
Correct.
just Lords of the Fallen. Yeah,
Correct.
great naming, but
yeah,
looks so good.
It does look cool. Looks definitely unique, and
yeah,
I think it'll make a splash when it comes out. I feel like
another.
Go ahead.
It's just another it's another Souls-like that I'm hesitant but optimistic about. So
yeah, sure. Very fair. This one I won't spend much time on, but Headbangers Rhythm Royale.
I love the trailer.
The trailer is like, it's interesting. It's not something that I thought I would be into until I figured it out. At first I was like, oh, another Fall Guys like or like Gang Beasts or one of those like party games that I would be kind of unsure of at face value. It wasn't until I realized that it's actually a rhythm battle royale. So you're playing a bunch of like rhythm mini games with multiple people, and it's the last person standing is the person that has performed the best in these weird little party games, which I think is good. And you're playing as a phallic rooster of sorts.
Is it online?
I believe so. Yeah, I can't imagine.
I feel like that's got to be miserable with like lag and just ping and whatnot, right? With a rhythm game.
Yeah, I wonder if that's going to be an issue.
I don't know.
But I think it looks cool.
I'm watching the trailer right now and it seems wonderful.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
Yeah, it's pretty good shit. What else do I have here? I think I have only two more games. The Last Faith. You guys know about this?
Oh, so I've been a Kickstarter backer for a little while. This was shown to me by a buddy of mine. This is Bloodborne, but 2D, Metroidvania style. It feels really good. I've been playing the alpha that they gave to backers, and I haven't gone too far because I really want to, let my playtime be the real game, the full game. I tend to not dig too hard into early access stuff, just enough to get a feel for it. And boy, does this one feel really good. I'm excited for the full release of this. The vibes and aesthetic are great, and the opening combat is just feels right on point. It feels as crisp as you want it to, which is perfect.
Very nice. Yeah, it looks super
I
slick.
also played a demo that was maybe like 30 minutes long. It's not the same thing as the alpha that you guys have access to, but yeah, I mean, same thing. Just feels really good. And Bloodborne is my second favorite game of all time. So side-scrolling Bloodborne, amazing.
Yeah,
very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I was expecting from the key art for it to be like 2.5D or something. But it's like very similar to Blasphemous, and it's more finely pixelated. I don't really know. It's not like 18-bit, but it's pixel art. So it looks really good.
Sure. Very nice. Last Faith. And the last game that I do have from that show before we get into the Xbox show is Pacific Drive, which I would say didn't have like a knockdown drag out showing in particular, but it's more of a game that I am very fucking interested in playing as soon as humanly possible.
Cannot wait to find out. So the only thing I'm still not positive on is just how rogue are the runs. I knew it was a run-based game. I got some hands-on time at PAX East with this. I got to play a run.
That's cool.
It feels really good. There's not too granular, but there is car customization. It's not as granular as like Car Mechanic Simulator. You're not taking out a ratchet and taking individual bolts off or anything. You just like you look at a panel on a car and you can hold a button, take the whole thing off, put a different panel on. But the world is so weird and interesting. In the 15 minutes I got to explore, I had fields of mannequins appear and then disappear while their red eyes were following me everywhere. I had what the devs called a floating ball of sentient tires attempt to steal my car while I was driving it. It's so just abstract and abnormal. I'm really curious. The story is going to make or break this game. If the story doesn't leave a lasting impression, it's going to be just fine. It's probably going to be a fine little survival game with your car. But if the story is really good, this is like a real gem, honestly.
Yeah.
You
might call this a car PG, possibly. Is this a true car PG?
Hey,
Possibly.
Man. Don't take away from Resistor. What the hell? Anything else on Pacific Drive?
It's just how rogue are these runs? Is this like, are you starting with a blank car every time you go back in, or is how much of that is being carried over? I think is the biggest question in my mind left for this, but I'm playing it one way or the other.
This is a new studio, right?
Yeah, this is Ironwood Studios. They're brand new. I've been following them on social networks. Really small team and just like super passionate. They come from all sorts of people that haven't developed a game before and people that come from like assorted teams. It's not like they're a spin-off of something else or anything like that. Just like really interesting group of people. And the video that they actually put out that was for this was like less of like a new trailer for Pacific Drive and more of like a 4-minute, hey, here's the game we're working on. Here's where we got our inspiration from. Like, this is the station wagon my parents used to have. This is like, it's that kind of thing. Worth a watch for sure. Seems like a cool team. And just like such a fucking unique game. Like no one's doing this differently. Oh, hi, Richard. He made his appearance. Good shit. All right, to the Xbox Showcase. Fable. I'm so fucking hyped. Fable looks so good. Where do you guys stand? All right, so obviously we're all hot on the Xbox Showcase itself, but they kind of went on record saying like there's going to be no like just CGI trailers, and like, okay, maybe this was in engine or like captured in game on a Series X, but like there wasn't gameplay or anything, right?
Fable? It was misleading, but
it's tough
for sure.
I'm still excited about it.
I'm so excited about it. I think it looks so cool.
The IT guy wants to you as a giant. That sounds great.
Yeah. I think it's going to be...
If you're Jake, you just think everyone else is small and he's normal size.
It didn't click at the beginning, okay? So Fable is just like its own story. It was never about like fables, And this seems like they're going for like a theme where, although it does feel like true to the Fable series in its theme, it seems like they're actually going for like those fantasy tales that one would call a fable, like Jack and the Beanstalk, which is really interesting. I hope that doesn't take away from like the actual core of what makes Fable, and it's just being a weirdo in a small open world, which is what I want to do mostly.
Yeah.
And chase chickens.
It kind of gives me, in the best way, it gives me Shrek vibes.
Sure. Okay.
In a good way, but also past like Jack and the Beanstalk, like what other fables do you tell?
I'm not a big fables guy. I'm a big
I'm
Fable
not either.
guy.
I don't know. That's my question.
I'm sure there's a bunch though.
Oh yeah,
probably.
There's
3 little piggies or whatever. I don't know what's copyrighted by Disney and what's not.
Yeah, the Fable list is a different show. This is GameList.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sucks. Like I'm super hot on it, and everybody that watches the trailer seems good, but like there's not that much to talk about. There's some cool stuff that's like appeared like in the thumbnail of the trailer. There's a shot of the sword, and if you look closely at the sword, it does have like the seal from Fable that you come to know and love from those first 3 games. Like it definitely feels authentically Fable and weird, but it is obviously updated for, you know, modern audiences. So I'd like to see more. But
Yeah, I've
nice
never
to see
played
it.
a Fable game, so I'm excited to play my first Fable game soon.
Oh,
Very cool.
sweet. I've never beat a Fable, but I've played 2 and 3.
Oh man, I love Fable 2 and 3. 2 is actually extremely good. I didn't mean to call it the bad ones. 3 is okay. You should go, honestly, it holds up. I've played it in recent years. It doesn't exactly hold up.
It doesn't hold up. I watched him play it. It was
Okay.
miserable. It was a miserable
360
experience.
All right.
He spent 2 streams on 1 combat encounter.
You guys stop. Tactical Dreamer, you should play Fable 1 because you're down for a 360s 360 game, and that's what it kind of plays like. It's a late Xbox game, and the original Fable is like fun and janky and just big enough, and you can play it in 12 hours or you can play it in 40 hours, and it's just fucking weird, man. It's good shit.
Yeah, I don't know if I played Fable 1. I played 2 and 3 definitely.
Yeah. I think it's like the one that, to me, they have like a anniversary edition that came out on 360, so it's actually arguably, if you play that version, the best looking of all 3 Fable games. You can't go wrong though. You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Talk about South of Midnight.
Yeah, there's another one where it's like they said no, like just CG stuff. But, like there was definitely no gameplay here.
Yeah,
For sure. Yeah, even less to go off of maybe than the Fable trailer.
Yeah, we don't really know what this game is, but boy, do I want to know. Let me tell you, like aesthetically, musically, like the soundtrack vibes we got in this trailer were really doing it for me.
It's cool.
Yeah. There was some like they talking around at Summer Game Fest about what it actually is. I believe it's like a 3rd-person action adventure. So you know the typical tagline of games nowadays. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's called South Midnight is a spellbinding 3rd-person action adventure game set in the Deep South. Past that, that's really all we know about the gameplay. But this is made by Compulsion Games, who made We Happy Few, which is a wonderful game that I think is extremely underrated. And it was like, that was my first YouTube playthrough, was We Happy Few. So
nice.
It has a special
content
place
creator
in my heart.
Origins.
Yeah, don't go watch those videos. They're really bad. I also never finished the series because I hit a game-breaking bug, and man, maybe I'm worried about South of Midnight now. I don't know. We'll never know. It looks good.
I think it's gonna be pretty good shit. I don't know. I've got faith in it, and it feels like it got a kind of centerpiece of a showcase, being that second game that they showed. Like I feel like that's a vote of confidence, and I mean, more than just that trailer. Like it told me to be excited for this game.
Yeah, art style is great.
Yeah, for sure. Very cool. South of Midnight from Compulsion. From that, we moved into. Do we table this? Maybe let's talk about it very briefly. Star Wars Outlaws. We're gonna circle back on it heavily for the Ubisoft show when it was showed in earnest. But we got like a 2 or 3 minute lengthy trailer for Star Wars Outlaws, where
completely CG trailer. No gameplay.
But a good looking CG trailer. Let's just circle back on it. Let's move on.
Yeah. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about 33 Immortals. We're looking for 29 more. 29 more. It could be you.
It's true.
It was only a few weeks ago that Starship Troopers Extermination came into early access, and I was like, 16-player co-op, this is great. How have we not had bigger co-op games? And then this gets like just gracefully dropped in front of me, and I couldn't be more excited for a 33-player co-op game.
It's like this game, just like, I thought it was a really good fucking trailer for this game too, where like they showed it and I was like, okay, yeah, you're basically Hades, you look good. And then like they slowly reveal like more, like, okay, that first shot has all 33 people, but then after a little while it's like, okay, what was I just seeing? They start showing like 2-player and then 4-player co-op and then fucking like 6 players and 8 players, and then next thing you know it's like fucking 28 people on screen, like the other ones are weaving in and out. It looks absolutely nuts. It's a 33-player multiplayer video game that kind of looks like a hack and slash roguelike.
Yeah, and I think they said this is from the developers of
Spiritfarer.
Spiritfarer, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Very similar art style, yeah.
Yeah.
Thunder Lotus. Yep.
Good shit, man. 33 Immortals.
Very cool.
I think I said
Day one
29
Game
more.
Pass,
We need
yeah?
28 more, right? That's why
Yes, that was day one Game Pass.
we're
Correct?
good. We're good.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Okay.
Hell yeah. Everything except for 6 games is day one Game Pass, even from third-party
most
developers.
Of the show.
So the vast
Yeah.
majority, like, there are just a few things that are not, which is fucking
Yeah,
wild.
like the Ubisoft games.
Yeah, pretty
Obviously,
much.
are not.
The next game that is indeed day one Game Pass is Persona 3 Load.
Persona
3
3.
Reload. 3 Reload. Load.
It's awesome.
Anybody?
I want to play Persona 3 Reload. I probably won't though. I haven't played Persona 5 because I don't
Same.
have time. Nobody has 150 hours, you know.
I get it. For sure.
And there's also been some like negativity around this remake since it was announced because apparently it's cutting a lot of content that was in the enhanced
Yeah.
PSP port.
I heard that.
But that game itself also cut content too. It sounds like you can't really make anybody happy with this because from what I understand,
Yes.
like there's like in that PSP port, there's no overworld. Like you don't run around like a city, which is like the most important part of modern Persona games to a lot of people. So
Yeah.
Well, and I
don't know.
think they also changed the like anime cutscenes in that PSP port as well.
Yeah.
To where they weren't like at the high quality
right.
cutscenes that was in the PS2 version, I guess.
Yeah.
I also didn't see
Yeah.
any of these anime kids blowing their fucking brains out, which, if I recall correctly, is
Yeah.
like the
It's
whole
gonna happen.
hook.
I don't
of
think they can make this
Persona.
game without you putting a bullet in your head. I really don't think it's possible, but
That would be
I-
crazy.
So
if they cut
wild.
that.
yeah.
So wild. But cool. The industry's worst kept secret this summer game season, I think, as well.
Yeah, it leaked along with another game that we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
The day before the conference, I think.
Yep. A mere 5 slides from now. But first, Avowed, which I think had a great showing. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe it was just like a good showing because it didn't seem to like. I don't think anyone was like, wow, this now that I see Avowed and what it's going to be, now I'm in. I feel like it's kind of just showing more of the same from the announcement too, but it felt more tangible this time, maybe. Like it felt like this game is actually running and playing and like not as far off as you may think.
Yeah.
Obsidian
I
is-
was, I was already in. I'm a big fan of Obsidian's narrative work and everything they've made. I've enjoyed it. So
and this one
Yeah,
is
I was
based
already
in the
in-
universe of what?
Pillars of Eternity.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that completely.
Yeah.
I was already in off of just how much I love Outer Worlds. And
Outer
that it
Worlds
is
is
a
good.
digestible version of Fallout, and
Yep.
they have confirmed since then that like yes, this is about the length of an Outer Worlds. It's a digestible Skyrim.
Yeah, they said
Very cool.
they initially approached it as like a Skyrim, like in breadth of content, and then they refocused on just the depth of content at the end of the day. So I'm excited about that because it's the depth that Obsidian brings that really interests me.
I think it's got a nice art style to it, like that separates it. I think some of the splashes of color that are involved in this game make it even more appealing to me than a Skyrim, which is a bit of a drab video game to look at sometimes.
Yeah, I think the font, like the key art that you have pulled up right now, looks like really bad clip art from Microsoft Word.
Oh yeah, well, joke's on you because I accidentally played the trailer from 2 years ago and you didn't even notice.
I did notice. I just wasn't going to bring it up. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, the new stuff looks even better, but it does look actually fucking really good. And
Yeah.
I'm really excited. And as a day one Game Pass game, again, it says something, man. Like, are you guys all subscribed to Game Pass more often than not?
No.
They got me. They fucking got me. Like, I'm in. And it is a selling point for a lot of things, like the fact that for $15 I can just jump in and make it happen for a month. Avowed, baby. Good shit.
Mhm.
Next thing that I have on my list is
Game of the
Resident
show.
Sleeper, bro. Oh yeah.
Game of the show. Is anybody else here a Hellblade fan?
I love the first Hellblade.
Yes. Yeah, Hellblade, it does something that no other game that I know of has ever done in putting voices in your head. It truly makes you feel like you're going insane when you're playing the game, hearing these people talk behind you and the spatial audio that they use to make it feel like you're just going insane. You're in Sinua's shoes because she has like I don't know, psychosis of some sort. I don't know the
Mhm.
correct word, but it is a like Nordic pagan pantheon type mythology. That's what I'm looking for. The first game was wonderful. That was actually my very first platinum trophy on PlayStation 4. And this one, it was a PlayStation exclusive. Then Xbox bought Ninja Theory and brought it to Xbox, and now this is an Xbox exclusive. But this is going on like the full Unreal Engine 5. Like, this is trying to push the mark on visual fidelity. I don't think this trailer here did a great job of showing it, just because of the environment they're in. The previous trailer that they showed really did a good job with the troll on the beach or whatever.
Yeah.
That the last one dove into more of the visual fidelity. This dove more into the psychosis element of it, which is really the drawing factor to me. The story of the first game was a big pull for me. It's another one of these like weird like psychological freak shows, which is what I'm really into. I just really hope they can improve the combat of the first game, because it was like a dodge button and one attack button. It was pretty basic. But aside from that, the story is so wonderful.
Yeah, I think you hit all the beats for me. Like that first game, the story is really good, but the combat definitely needs some work. So like if they can just polish up the gameplay elements in this, like I think it'll be a huge hit.
Yeah. I really want, like, I feel like a Hellblade TV show would be really cool. Just following Senua or something else in this universe, because it is like a they're taking creative liberties with like the mythology that they're building on here. And I just like freak shows. I've said it so many times this episode. And I just want like more of this world, because it's so unique and unlike anything I've seen in games. They've done Assassin's Creed Valhalla, they've done God of War, but nobody's really dug into the horror elements of this pantheon like Hellblade has.
Yeah. I want to like this game more because I love Nordic mythology. I've read the Prose Edda and the Poetic Edda, which is like a lot of the collections of the mythologies of the Nordic peoples, and they are like prime for horror gameplay.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I started I played like an hour of the first one, and the gameplay was just a little bit too off-putting for me. So yeah, if the gameplay gets tightened up on this, I will probably eat this up.
Yeah.
What a fucking snooze of a trailer, man. I'm sorry. You guys are all red hot on this shit. But it just seemed like I don't know. Like the first trailer they showed was like 2.5 years ago, and it was like fucking gameplay and action packed and like at least fit the bill. And instead, like they were just like crushing so hard on like, I thought like really interesting, and like they were on a roll of momentum. Like it was starting to slow down a little bit. Like before this was Flight Sim and like Monkey Island and shit. But like Avowed, Persona, Payday, Immortals, Star Wars, South of Midnight, Fable, and then like short interview with the actress, and then like this is literally 4 minutes of like weird voices and looking at water and like
that's
weird,
exactly what I want from this. So that's why I love it so much.
It's just from a momentum standpoint, it did seem to slow things down.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like the momentum's never going to be kept up. It's just unsustainable in a showcase like that.
Does anything stink from like the development cycle of the game, being that we saw so much last time? Was that just like a vertical slice and they were showing off to show off? We shouldn't worry that there's no gameplay this time around? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we should probably worry. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then maybe the gameplay stinks again. That would be unfortunate, but I hope not.
Yeah, for sure. You know what gameplay won't stink is the Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth gameplay. Did you guys like this trailer?
Yeah, that was very funny. It's crazy
funny
that they're going to America, apparently. Like, it seems like he's on like a California beach or something.
Yeah, super interesting.
You know what I thought it wasn't initially?
Dead
I thought it was Dead Island 2. Anytime I see a beach in a freaking video game trailer now, I think Dead Island 2.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, pretty cool. This is Ichiban, right? This is the main character from Yakuza 7, and there's been I feel like a lot of people are like really confused about Like a Dragon right now. I mean, they're still adjusting to the Like a Dragon name change, and then it looks like they dropped the numbers from it again, which they did again. They did that for Yakuza Like a Dragon, but this is the full Like a Dragon, and it's called Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and there's no number and there's no Yakuza, so people were very confused on, is this Yakuza 8 Like a Dragon 8? And indeed it is. This is the one that they showed last year at the RGG show.
Yeah, I was also a little confused, and somebody who was streaming with me, I think it was Preston, he pointed out that like the infinite is supposed to be like a sideways 8, so that's supposed to be like your clue in, I guess.
That's what I was thinking, but I wasn't
sure.
sure if it was like a translation thing or what.
Yep. Infinite Wealth, I get it. But yeah, it looks cool. Again, CG trailer, but exciting. Pretty cool
Ichiban
stuff.
Smash or Pass?
Smash.
Smash.
I think so, yeah.
That's 4.
Yeah.
Smash confirmed, baby. Good shit.
Yeah, I agree.
Smash Ultimate.
Now, this one was dripping in fucking style. This game is called Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess. And when this came out on screen at first, I thought it was like, because it gave us the Capcom information. Well, the Capcom title card or whatever you might call it. And I was starting to think Onimusha for a second. I was like, is this a fucking Onimusha reboot with like all the demon stuff that was going on? And the answer was no, it's a brand new IP from Capcom. But in a world of games where you play a ninja or samurai that look identical, like say what you will, but Ghost of Tsushima, Sekiro, this Rise of the Ronin game that's coming out, a lot of these games look very, very similar. This does not look similar to that.
No.
I'm very interested in this. What about you guys?
Yeah,
the art looks incredible. Like, I love like the kind of yokai inspiration games. Like, I love Neo too, so like I'm really into the aesthetic of this game.
yeah.
It
reminds me of the aesthetic of the like the Raid from Tsushima, where it was much more yokai and spiritual. And
makes sense. Yeah, just a really cool looking action game that is fucking dripping in style. Like every slash of the sword or, parry lets this like sea of color and design out into the world that is just on another fucking level. It looks thoroughly next gen. It just looks like a really cool third-party fucking banger from Capcom. And Capcom, as you all know, are in their Cap God era right now. They've re-entered. They're not fucking missing right now. So it's a good time to be new IP. I bet they're going to come out and absolutely crush with this thing. But,
Capcom is releasing Exoprimal, and I would probably call that a miss.
Exoprimal is going to fucking slap, bro. We'll get to that in a little
just
bit.
me, man.
Cool as fuck. We alluded to this earlier. Persona 5 Tactica, right?
Yeah.
P5T.
This game looks cool. I love tactics games. I like Persona. It is another one where like Persona 5 Strikers I really wanted to play, but I heard that it spoiled Persona 5, and I still am lying to myself and telling myself I'm going to play Persona 5 someday. So if this is the same thing, I will probably not play it for that reason, even though it looks cool.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to myself anymore. I'm just going to play this one. I started, that's another RPG that I got like 40 hours into, and at a certain point I was like, I need a break, and I never got back to it. I'll probably put 40 hours into this, and if I beat it in that time, then I'm good.
We're all on the same page with Persona. It's like I played it for like 16 hours, and I was like, I'm going to play all of this someday, and I just haven't yet.
I never even started it because I know it's 150 hours that I don't have. Even though I love Persona 4, one of my favorite games ever. But
oh, shit. Yeah.
My only complaint with this game is they're chibi and not hot. So
some people don't think that. Some people think they're both chibi and hot. You can be both.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, sure. To each their own.
Jusant, Justin, Jusant.
Just
terrible name, but game looks cool.
Yeah, it does. It's just climbing, baby.
On this.
It's just climbing, and it looks fucking rad. Another don't nod thing, is that the case?
Don't nod. Yes.
Yeah.
Fun aesthetic. I mean, as I'm climbing all over the things in Tears of the Kingdom. Just like give me more climbing. It looks like good climbing.
It does. Yeah, it's a really interesting looking game. I think like I don't know, like the art style is nothing really to write home about, but it's like a rock climbing adventure game, I guess. I don't know. You're just climbing up shit.
There's
Kind of
almost
looks like it was
like
made in dreams. Art style.
It does look a little bit like it was made in
You know what?
dreams.
It does kind of look like that. Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
bit, yeah.
What a weird game to talk about. I feel like we're all kind of hot on this, but like I don't know anything else to say.
It's like
No, I mean,
I feel like it's going to be something like Journey in
Yeah.
some aspects,
okay,
right?
yeah,
Like
sure.
that's as to give, if you're just listening, to give an idea in your mind, like this is going to be about the process of playing the game more than it is getting to the end of the game. You know,
Sure.
it's about the journey.
yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of gives me Shadow of the Colossus vibes in just overcoming this insurmountable obstacle, which is just a cliff instead of giant monsters.
Yeah.
But I know you're going to be hopping around, and the old boy's going to be going every single time you make a
Yeah.
move on the wall. So, yeah, yep, the entire game.
Oh, I can't wait. I want to hear it. I want to hear it all. What did you guys think of this Dungeons of Hinterberg?
That game
This is a
looks
weird looking-
amazing.
Yeah, it's a weird.
I love the
game.
art style. I know
Me
Ryan
too.
saying that art style makes you sick, but
Yeah.
I think it looks awesome.
I get it. Yeah, not for everybody.
No.
It's got like the cell shaded thing, but it almost, I guess, like Hi-Fi Rush kind of art style, almost like a.
Almost
what was that
Hi-Fi
game
Rush
from a couple of years ago?
mixed with Okami.
Sable is
Like that Sable.
one that-
It kind of looks like
Sable is yeah, but more splash of color. I feel like Sable was a little bit more
Yeah.
brown and orange all the time.
yeah.
But yeah, I think you're
Definitely.
right. That is arguably more accurate than whatever the fuck game I said.
but
about,
I-
forgot
Hi-Fi
about.
Rush, yeah.
Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush.
Even just
It's
now
weird
watching
'cause I
this, I'm getting some nausea. There's something about this art style. I love it in stills, but I can't stand it in motion.
I get
Yeah,
it.
agree.
I get it.
Yeah, I'm very curious about the gameplay because it seems like it cuts from it almost looks like a Zelda game, like an old style Zelda game of exploration,
Right.
but then it cuts to like kind of a Hades camera as well. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, it does,
Yeah.
and then
Cool.
it also seems very like fast as well. Like there's like some actual action into it. I'm not positive what to make of it, but
Yeah, it's got some Monument
Day
Valley
One Game
type
Pass, baby. Let's
puzzle
all try it.
mechanics as well, with like
Yeah.
turning the world around and whatnot. So
Yeah, there is some of that.
yeah,
Pulse check here.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm in.
all right, gamers.
Yeah. After the previews, I'm 100% in.
All right.
I haven't even read
Hands
any of
on
the
Liberty.
previews. I've been wanting an excuse to go back to Cyberpunk a little bit because I did earlier in the year, like go back and play 15, 20 hours to feel something for some reason. I don't know. And I was really happy with the progress they'd made. I played it at launch on PC and I didn't have a lot of issues, fortunately, but you can tell how much more polish has come to the game since release.
Yeah. For the previews, I'll give you a little sneak peek. They've changed everything in the game. I'm not as interested in the expansion. I mean, I'm interested in the expansion, of course, but they've changed the way skills work. They have completely updated the AI of the game. There's like a full like wanted system now. There's battles between gangs and cops. Your skills instead of passive bonuses are more like perks. They've changed the way cybernetics work. They've changed everything from the sounds of it. It's bringing the game to the place where it should have been at launch, truly, with the gameplay systems. And that's what really excites me to go back into Night City. So there's a lot.
Yeah.
It's worth reading some impressions about it because I read like a big long Twitter thread earlier of just tweet after tweet of things that excited me to go back.
Awesome.
Nice. I
Yeah.
played Cyberpunk when it came out and enjoyed it, but I don't know that I'll go back for this DLC unless it's like rave reviews, like
Yeah.
Game of the Year material or something.
Yeah.
I might check it out. But
Mhm.
You guys know when the Witcher 3 next gen version came out, was it buggy or was it a good smooth launch?
I'm not sure.
I think it was buggy. Colin
I
doesn't
think
seem
it
to.
was-
Colin's
I think it was
blocked
smooth.
it out
Yes,
of
it
his
was probably
fucking head.
I'm gonna say it was like a 7 out of 10 smooth.
Oh, okay, perfect. All right, Cyberpunk. Keanu they're trying to recapture that whole like fucking coming out on stage. You're beautiful.
My comment was he heard Nick
work.
Cage came and was like, I gotta fucking, I can't.
Doesn't work. Nick Cage gets a crowd. Nick Cage gets a crowd to react to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can't do that on a thing. Like it's just him bending down into a camera and trying to make us all feel something when we don't feel anything. We're fucking numb.
He's getting old. It makes me sad.
Yeah.
Are you guys into City Skylines?
Yeah.
Not
I'm
me.
not.
City Builder, bro.
Are you really into it? Did you play the first
suck
one?
at it. Yeah.
Okay.
For like 10 hours. And then I sucked at it because I was playing on console and the controls are abysmal. But this game looks like the perfect city builder dream for everybody who loved City Skylines 1. Yeah. I don't really have much to say.
And I'm happy for those people.
But I'm more happy about Metaphor Re-Fantasio.
Can we get a rename though?
Yeah,
I
change
agree.
the name,
No.
please. But like, no. Oh, yeah, it is JRPG. You're right. But it's not Square Enix JRPG. It can be named a normal thing.
I think if you just called it Metaphor, it would be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
The subtitle fucks it, kinda.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I was fine with Metaphor, and then I saw Re-Fantasio pop up. I'm like, nah.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
That's a big no.
Yeah. But goddamn, this game looks fucking
just
cool.
looks incredible. Like, it's cell shaded anime, like the art style looks fine, but like just the thing that they also do with Persona so well is like the UI. It just looks so interesting. It's not like bland menus that you're scrolling through. It's like really dynamic, interesting menus.
Yeah. Is this part of Shin Megami Tensei? Is it in universe completely new?
It seems like it's completely new, which is also very cool because I love Shin Megami Tensei. I played Shin Megami Tensei 5, but like I could use a break from that universe. Like do something completely new and original.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff. Does look good. It definitely like it's giving some more like there's not the element of like high school drama that's typically present in the Persona series, but it still has the absolutely absurd fantasy elements that you get from that. I think that it's going to probably be a gigantic deal, and for anybody that feels alienated by the history of Shin Megami or just Persona and just not trying to hop in on something not at the ground level, will have that opportunity to get in on this, and I bet it's really popular.
Yeah, and I think there's at least one still from the trailer that's still like it's like a date, like a month and day. So I think you're still doing some of that like slice of life stuff, but it's like in a more dire world, not just high school stuff.
Yep. Cool. In fucking Game Pass day one. That's a pull.
Yeah.
That's a really good pull.
I mean, this is going to be like 200 hours long though, right?
Yeah. It is. We'll see what else is that. I will try.
Yeah.
I mean, I played 100 hours of Shin Megami Tensei 5. Like, I can find the time if I really want to, but finding the time for an older game like Persona 5 at this point is hard.
Yeah, I get that.
For sure. Towerborn. First off, great name, man.
Mm-hmm.
And also, incredibly cool looking video game, like 4-player 2.5D beat 'em up, arcade style, but with like think like Castle Crashers, but not photorealistic or anything, just like upgraded, like Castle Crashers if it was made today, is I guess kind of where I'm at with it. And it looks fucking awesome.
I think more Dragon's Crown. I like Dragon's Crown more. If you remember that one. So that's like side-scrolling beat 'em up RPG is the important thing. RPG elements is what makes side-scrolling beat 'em up engaging for me.
Without a doubt, 4-player co-op Game Pass with your buddies that have Game Pass. Like it's batting 1,000 out here. Like I think that this is going to be a game that is not top of mind until it's close to release, and then everybody and their friends find out that this like really cool game just came out, and this is what we should be playing this weekend. And I bet it really fucking pops off. It feels like one of those games. It just got a 2024 release date. Just feels like one of those games that just comes out like in some random time in April, not around some other stuff, and just like steals the show in the video game industry for a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a blast for a good few weekends.
Yeah, and I think this is the developer of Banner Saga, which is weird. Weird departure for them, but
yeah, it is. Where did you guys land on Clockwork Revolution? And all right, what went through your head when you started watching the trailer for Clockwork Revolution?
BioShock.
I think it was BioShock.
clone.
Bioshock
Yeah.
Infinite.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It was like a little on the nose even. Like I was like, okay,
Yeah.
we're really just going for it, huh? Yeah, I didn't know what to make of it, but I mean, in the long run, this is In Exile. I'm in. I'm very in on it. I like BioShock. There are people that are divisive on BioShock. I don't know why, but in my head, when I was playing BioShock when I was a kid, I mean, what BioShock was like 2009. It wasn't that long ago. Like, I guess that's closer to 15 years than 10. But no, BioShock Infinite's like 2012 or 13. I'm fucking that up.
2013.
Cool.
Infinite, yeah.
Cool. So 10 years. BioShock Infinite, I like that game.
I
a lot.
love
I like
BioShock Infinite. That's my favorite BioShock.
Cool. All right. Stubbs is out. A head shake for listeners.
I'm anti BioShock.
I like it. I liked it a lot, and I liked the ending. I liked the whole premise that they set up for BioShock. BioShock Infinite's ending made me so excited for more BioShock, and let me tell you, that's paid dividends. But this game, it wasn't a gameplay trailer, and it didn't show all that much. It was definitely all about fucking setting that they were showing off, and it did look strikingly like Columbia, but the hook here is like an alternate reality thing where you can turn back time and affect the future. I'm not sure how far things will stem, or if the whole thing will be fucking on rails with what you can change, but the idea of like changing time and then changing something that happens in the past and then going to the future and see how that affects that world is pretty interesting to me. I'm not sure how they pull that out gameplay mechanics. I think the thing that they did the best was when it came to the date, it said coming in due time. Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah. You're not held to anything.
Yeah, I saw some chat on the internet from some of the developers where people were worried about well, if you're uninformed, In Exile made like Wasteland, so they're very familiar with hardcore RPG elements. So people were worried if this game was going to forego those elements in favor of a pure BioShock like gameplay loop. But the developer said that the hardcore RPG elements will be present in this game. So if you're more of an RPG person, it might interest you a little bit more.
That does make this slightly more
tempting.
appealing to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's not how they ended the show, though. They ended the show with so much fucking Starfield. So much Starfield. Instead, we could sit here and have a whole Starfield podcast based on the 50 minutes of Starfield.
Mm-hmm.
Instead,
Yeah.
let's not do that. I feel like if you watched it, there's enough to dig in and absorb. Let me just ask you guys how hot you are on Starfield as like a whole. Are you guys all day one on Starfield?
It's on Game
Yeah.
Pass, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I'm going to be day -5 at this point because
That's
Yeah,
right.
you're right. You're right.
That's right. I got on the. Go ahead.
and the weird thing was I was probably like a 5 out of 10 before this direct, and then
Yeah.
I immediately became like a 9 out of 10 for this
Yeah.
game. Like it really catapulted me into the stars with my joy to play some Starfield in a few months.
Good shit. I watched Kauulin go from like a 6 excitement to like an 8.5, 9 excitement by the end of the show for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I can build a ship that looks like a dick, so I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
I can't wait to fly around in the Captain Cock ship or whatever.
Of course.
No, I'm very excited. Also, they did hint at like they had like Jake made a questionnaire before the show. You remember your questionnaire? I don't know how to. You had a question that was like, are they going to hint at?
I said, will they imply
sexual-
sex?
Yeah, they did. So
They sure did.
I answered yes. They definitely did. So I saw some comparisons between Starfield this year versus last year when they showed it, and man, thank God they delayed it a year. It looks so much better.
The gunplay looks way crisper than it did.
Yeah, for sure. It
crisper,
looks
yeah.
super. It's more than serviceable these days. Everybody obviously, what do they think when they hear Bethesda launch game? They think about like what kind of nightmare thing is going to happen. Did you guys hear the Matt Booty quote from the Giant Bomb After Dark thing?
Yes.
So it's basically what he said was, if Starfield shipped today, it would be the smoothest Bethesda launch of all time. If it shipped right this moment.
Whoa.
which is such
they
a
still
fucking
have a
bold
few
claim.
months.
I'm sorry, I don't
it's
believe
such a
it.
bold,
I don't believe
it's
it.
such a bold claim, but I love it. I think that's a great way to like. You could just say like, no, it's not very buggy at all, but to like just make that claim like it would be the smoothest launch Bethesda's ever had is fucking insane. If they can really pull this off and that this game comes out and it does indeed define a generation, it's going to be fucking awesome. And I'm excited to play it. And I'm a person that has only ever played Skyrim, and I played 12 hours of Skyrim and rolled credits and said Skyrim's good, which I understand is the wrong way to play Skyrim, and it hurts people's feelings to hear.
Yeah, I tried to tell him, guys.
I just went to the main quest every time and did the next thing that they asked me to do.
You need to brace somebody before you tell them that.
Yeah, man. And I like it. I was like, yeah, I'll play. And I can't wait for Skyrim 2, is what I always like to say, which I understand also pains the same people in a way I can't comprehend.
Yeah.
Can
I have my complaints about this game really quick?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, certainly.
Console's locked to 30 frames. They said, we want you to have the most curated experience or whatever, and I'm like, I don't care, just give me an option to turn down the fidelity in trade of frame rate. Like it's Series X is locked at 4K 60. If it has to go all the way down to 1080p, I don't care. I need the frames. It makes me enjoy the game more. It's an adjustment every time when I have to go from 60 to 30 to 60 to 30. So because of that, I think I might be playing on PC, and I don't play games on PC very often at all.
It's the best place to play.
I also almost never play games on PC, but I will be playing on PC so that I can get an infinite inventory mod. I cannot deal with
the wait. Yeah.
That's what some people in my chat were saying. Squanky, friend of the show, was talking about how like the mods for this game are going to be absolutely fucking insane. And I wonder if there is something to do with like with how big and procedurally generated this world is. I wonder if there will be a modding community that works together, because I know a big thing for like
make every
existing Bethesda game mods is like compile. It's not about a mod, it's about compiling multiple mods together. So I could see the community rallying around this game for an extended period of time and making just like an absolutely unbelievably like handcrafted and curated world throughout all of these planets that were mostly barren or procedurally generated, that actually get like the time and focus that they deserve. Each one could be
how long do you think until there's a mod that's just a brand new only mod planet? There's just one whole planet.
Less than a month.
Mod worlds.
No,
less than a month.
I bet it'll be less than a month, but for quality, there will be like Kotaku and IGN headlines about like a planet overhaul mod within year one of like you wouldn't believe what they've accomplished in this mod thing.
Yeah. There are concerns about accessibility in this game because the text is so small. I don't know if you guys follow Steven Spawn on Twitter. Disabled gamer or blind gamer, I can't remember what his tag is, but blind gamer. He showed the text at some points in the game is 2 pixels wide, like the stroke of like an eye is 2 pixels wide and 8 pixels tall. Just extremely small text. I hope there are a lot of
Steve Saylor's the blind gamer. We fucked up.
Steve Saylor. Okay. Yeah, my bad. I hope there are some accessibility options. Bethesda's not really known for that, but hopefully this will be the time that they kind of add something new to the table. I'm excited. I'm super excited. I'm still hesitant about the 1,000 planets. They did a good job selling me on it, but I can't wait. Truly.
You know what else you can't wait for? Citizen Sleeper. This happened at the PC gaming show. Let's get into the PC gaming show era. What a nightmare of an actual fucking event that thing is, huh?
Yeah, it was a snooze fest. I was like falling asleep watching it, honestly, but there were some good announcements. You know, Citizen Sleeper 2, not snooze fest. Love Citizen Sleeper.
Yeah, same. Citizen Sleeper is one of my favorite games of all time at this point. And I was so offended at how they announced it. They could have just shown the trailer with no warning, but instead they did a splash screen with, "Hey, this is coming up soon." Yeah. But it seems to be an evolution on the gameplay of the first Citizen Sleeper. This little trailer that they showed is the setup for the game, so this is like a cutscene leading into the game. In this game, in Citizen Sleeper, you were on the Eye, and you get to explore the Eye and make decisions there based on dice roll and whatnot. In this game, you actually have a ship, and you're going to be building a crew and jumping back and forth between different points of interest. So it's going to be a much more expansive version of Citizen Sleeper. I can't wait. This is so high up on my list right now. They also announced I got the design works for Citizen Sleeper through Lost in Cult, and they announced that they are adding Citizen Sleeper 2 artwork and like design build to it as well. So I'm very excited. Yeah.
Did you ever play the DLC for Citizen Sleeper?
I did. I replayed it all when it came out on PlayStation. Have you played it?
I have not played the DLC. Do I need to play the DLC?
Absolutely. 100%. It is the true ending to Citizen Sleeper.
Cool.
But then you need to go into Kaulin's Twitch chat and tell him that you did it so that he can fucking freak out and ramble about it for 15 minutes.
I'll ramble about it and not actually say anything at the end of the day. Just say, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good. Yeah.
Who's hyped? Citizen Sleeper looks cool, but how about Ebenezer?
Do you like that piss yellow?
And the Invisible World?
Oh my god.
Is cool.
This just opens up, like, between Lies of P and this game. I can't wait for the era of public domain video games. Like,
yeah,
this looks like it is better than it has any right being. Like, this looks like it's going to be such a good time as you play action adventure Scrooge.
What's the most cursed, like, public domain game thing that you could think of? I would like the
horror Winnie the Pooh game that's being made.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. How about a class-based roguelike shooter, Wizard of Oz themed? I'm the Tin Man, your homie's the lion, Dorothy, and whoever's the other person that rolls with them. Scarecrow.
What about that?
Nailed it.
What about that not Muppet horror game that was shown at the?
Oh yeah, what a fucking nightmare that looks like. It's a Wonderful Neighborhood or something like that.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Friendly Neighborhood? No, that doesn't.
Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Ebenezer. Yeah, fucking nightmare.
It looks.
Teardown's coming to consoles and then is getting a PC big update. You guys are Teardown fans?
I want to be. I've seen a few videos of this on YouTube. It's one of those games that, like, one of these days I'm going to break down and pick up because I will absolutely enjoy. This is like the. Have any of you heard of BeamNG?
No.
.drive.
Is it's the physics-based driving game.
I have.
Well, it's not only physics-based. It's like every single piece of the car is individually modeled. Like this like building that. Like the idea of getting to slowly destroy something. Very appealing.
I see the TikToks where they're like, this is if you'd made this jump on the moon. This is if you did it on Jupiter. This is if you did it on the sun, and it just pancakes the car.
Yeah, that's BeamNG.
It's really cool.
And this has like a creative mode coming to it. Was the big highlight of the trailer too. It's like you're kind of like sculpting almost with their creator tool. It looks fairly unique as far as how you make things in this world. Like unlike Minecraft where you're building, this is more of like I don't know. I don't think you're 3D printing something.
Yeah, it looks like dream sculpting, but hopefully simpler.
Sure.
Yeah, I want to say it already had a creative mode where you could use like templates to build maps. But this is definitely something completely different.
Yeah. Looks cool.
Yeah.
Love to see it. Next thing I have on my list is Road to Vostok.
Road to Vostok.
Any Tarkovers in chat?
But single player.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Single player survival game. That's really what's appealing to me is the idea of a single player survival. Like there's so many multiplayer survivals. This is having that isolation is really going to add to the heightened sense of anxiety as I try to cross the Russian border into Finland. In this game, there's a demo on Steam now.
Have you played it?
Which I know I haven't. I need to click download once we're done recording so I don't mess with my camera going blurry.
I have not played it either, but I want to. It looks really good.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be making some time for the demo because this does look like such a good time. I'm excited to give it a shot.
Are you a Tarkov person?
I'm not. I got into DMZ a little bit for a few months there. for a hot minute, but not huge on Tarkov. I'm really more into the cooperative side of video games. I haven't been hard into competitive since I broke 2.5 years of Siege.
Yep.
I get it.
I get that. I've played maybe 30 hours of Tarkov, and it is just the competitive part that really messes me up because I'm so bad. So having Tarkov like systems in a single player game really excites me.
Yeah, looks like a fun time.
Sure. Frostpunk
Talking about
2?
systems.
Oh shit.
We got any Frostpunkers here? Captain Stubbs?
I feel like I would.
Goes mild.
Oh, no one.
I want to play Frostpunk. I bought it like at release because it just seems like a cool concept, but I never played it.
It is my favorite city builder. It is a city builder resource management sim that has really good in-depth lore. There's all sorts of expansions now that you have. Everything's built on like a radial, like on a circle. So it's not like you're grid based like normal city builders. It's a radius, and each building has a certain like wedge shape to it. It is simple enough to pick up very quickly. Like Anno 1800, for example, I spent a couple hours learning all the systems to it. More than a couple hours. Frostpunk, you could probably pick it up in about an hour and a half. It's like one of those things where your first run you will likely lose, but there on out you'll get it. There are certain resources that you have to manage. You have to please your people. If you've ever played This War of Mine, it's the same developer, 11-bit studio. It has a lot of moral choices that you have to make between your inhabitants to please them and not piss them off. In the original Frostpunk, you had to balance faith and oh god, there was I cannot even remember. There's pretty much two status effects. One of them was bad. If it went all the way full, you would lose. Or if there was a good one that was like hope, that if it decreased all the way, it would lose. So pretty much every action you make increases or decreases your faith or hope for an ultimate effect. But then you can pass laws in the community that can change those bars and how they react. It is my favorite city builder ever, and I've been waiting for Frostpunk 2 for so long. I'm not sure, they didn't show any gameplay, which kind of hurt my feelings a little bit, but they said 2024, so I'm there. You guys just need to check it out. I cannot recommend it enough.
Yeah, the thing I like about Frostpunk, in theory at least, is that it is making the best of a bad situation. Like, everything's not going to be going well for you ever, which is also very much a thing in Darkest Dungeon, which is one of my favorite series.
Yes, you worded that far better than I ever could. Yeah, it is a game where you have to go with all the bad shit that's going on. Just got to roll with it.
Colin, you should check out a game called Homeseek and DM me later.
Homeseek?
Yeah.
Okay, will do.
Good stuff. Let's move on to Sulfur.
Sulfur.
Sure.
Yes. Hang on one sec. Let me get the Steam page. I remember seeing. Oh, this is the boomer shooter. That's right.
Yeah,
this is the boomer shooter with the RE4 inventory. This just looks like it's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah, it does look really cool.
Not a wild aesthetic for indie games these days, but it looks good.
Yeah. Looking at the footage right now, it definitely looks like something that'll be a big hit with a crowd of people that are always fiending for that inventory system, basically.
Yeah.
What was the puzzle game that uses that inventory system?
Dredge.
Dredge. Oh, I was about to ask, have you played Dredge? Dredge is so good.
Yeah, it's top 10 for me for the year. It's and it's nice that it's not like a restrictive inventory. It looks like you have a decent amount of size. They're not going for the survival horror inventory management of RE4, but they're going for that making inventory a puzzle game, which is fun.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Critter Cove. All right, this is like my highlight. I don't know. It's not reinventing the wheel here or anything. Maybe I'm not even that hot on Critter Cove. It was just like, for me, the shiniest turd at the PC gaming show. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
This was your one little nugget throughout the show.
Yeah, it just looked like a fairly higher budget than expected city builder, essentially. Like it's definitely cutesy. It's got a little bit of like an Animal Crossing vibe to it. It's a lot of like getting a town and upgrading it and inviting all the right people to run your shops to work there. You're sailing around. You've got all sorts of cool people that are around, and like I believe critters to collect from your cove. As far as I know, that's the premise, but who could tell? But yeah, Critter Cove was kind of my highlight there that I wanted to show off. Just a little bit of after that, Exo Rally Championship.
Yeah.
Where are you guys at on this thing?
Oh, it looks like it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even remember this.
So-
high octane snow runner.
Yeah, basically. So I'm pretty sure. So it says it's from the creators of Exo 1, and Exo 1 is, I believe it's free. Actually, it's like a very interesting glorified tech demo. It's a kind of like avant-garde type situation.
Marvel game, is that what that is, right?
Yeah, pretty much, where it's basically like a momentum-based traversal game where you have like a world that looks not unlike Exo Rally, where you are kind of controlling your marble and controlling gravity at the same time. So you'll kind of tilt in a direction and start going, and then you'll hold down the space bar to make gravity come down and make your marble roll faster down that. Then once it hits like a point where you'd like to go up, you let go of the space bar so that gravity lifts, and as it goes up the ramp, it fucking shoots out, and you are just constantly trying to like hit those things to make the momentum hit exactly the right way, and it ends up being really fucking fun. And I think Exo Rally,
this is a
building
Jet the
off of
Far
that?
Shore like.
I don't know Jet the Far Shore.
I know Jet the Far Shore. Yeah, that tracks. Yeah, I didn't beat that game, but I played a good few hours of it. I should
Yeah.
get around to beating that.
Exo
but yeah,
1 is $6 on Steam, by the way.
I wonder why I have it. I might have grabbed it in like a Humble bundle or something like that. Maybe
It was
that's
on
why it's
Game
in my
Pass when it
inventory.
launched.
Oh no shit. Maybe that's where I played it. But yeah, check out a video of Exo 1 and then check out Exo Rally. We're into it. Dwarf?
Dwarf. Just-
What? Go on.
What-
Tell me about Dwarf.
It just looks like a fun RTS, but they named it Dwarf, so how can I not talk about it?
Yeah.
This is actually winner for best named game all weekend in my mind, because I don't like it, but it's never going to fall out of my head. Dwarf will live in my mind rent free for the rest of eternity. It just
does
looks
look
like
very
a
like Warcraft 2, StarCraft 1 era.
Yeah, it's retro.
yeah, classic for sure. It's probably going to be a fun time. It's just the name sticks out as such.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
fucking
God.
wild.
Dwarf.
Good key art for Dwarf too.
Yeah.
Last thing that I have for PC Game Show is you can't have a PC Game Show and not show Baldur's Gate 4 years running. That's just the rules.
Baldur's Gate 3. I am very hyped.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything like there was really nothing new revealed. I don't think, right?
New villain.
Some
New
voice
villain, that's right.
actors, minor
Got it.
stuff.
Yeah.
We're really close to the release for this thing. If
August, right?
if
End
you
of
know,
August?
you know. Yeah, August something.
Oh yeah.
If you're in for it, you're in for it. You're in for all 150 hours, whatever this is going to be. I don't know that I'm that in for it, honestly. This is probably going to be another one of those games where like I get 40 hours in, I'll be like, I've had my fill. It's a good time.
Yeah,
I
this
think
is
that's
this
fair.
is like right there with like Dragon's Dogma for me. I'll probably pick one of them. I know they're different, but I'm just running out of time.
Yeah.
There's so many games.
Just not
Yes.
enough time.
Yeah,
It's the Ubisoft event.
let's do it. I'm so excited.
I fucking loved the Ubisoft event, man. I
It was
don't
actually
know.
pretty good.
Yeah,
It was the thing about the Ubisoft event was that it felt the most like it could have happened 5 years
E3.
ago during E3. Like it felt like an E3 2018 presser, you know, like live crowd, people cheering, the right cadence to me, even though everything didn't hit, it never always hits. What they did right was it was a lot of like those different stages of what to show. Like here's a trailer, here is a person talking about developing the game, here is a gameplay demo of that game, and somebody talking about what's happening during it. It was just like I feel like the right amount of time spent on the right stuff during the Ubisoft press conference. And they started off, to me, pretty fucking strong with Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, which I don't know. Where are
looks
you guys at?
great.
Avatar, Far
wonderful.
Cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right up my
Avatar
alley.
Far Cry Primal, almost like somewhere between Far Cry Primal and regular Far Cry, because there is guns too.
Yeah.
Do you think it's weird that the same way that they have sex is the same way they connect to the animals?
It is weird.
Yeah. You think people are like,
Is that how?
oh, I just got back from riding the dragon. Wash your hair.
Well,
And then,
okay.
right? I don't know.
I mean, we don't know. They're wearing
we know?
pants for a reason, right? So
I don't know. What's
But I mean, there's a scene in the first movie where they like hook their things together, and it's like really romantic.
Yeah,
Maybe that's just kissing.
Oh,
Maybe you just
yeah.
kiss your
Yeah,
animal.
I wonder if
No, there's
that's,
like an implied
kissing
thrust.
or,
There's an
like-
implied thrust. Like it feels really good when you put your hair in the hair.
well, it's also like a neural link because in the sequel
Oh,
she starts
yeah.
having seizures whenever she hooks her brain up to that thing. So
Brain? Are we sure it's a brain? Okay.
I mean, have you ever hooked your brain into another person's brain? Maybe it feels really good. Maybe it feels the
Yeah,
same.
true. Just pure ecstasy.
yeah, I guess you could have.
Wouldn't this be the
seizures from
funniest segment
the
if
good bit as
instead of talking
well.
about the game, we just spent like 6 minutes talking about the fundamentals of sex in the Avatar universe,
Yeah,
and then
let's break down the
moved on to
anatomy of
fucking
the
skull
Na'vi.
and bones? Like,
Hey, do you think the little fins from the Na'vi in the sequel are like soft or like hard? You think they're like bony or you think they're like cartilage fins? You know what I'm talking about?
yeah, I bet
The
like more
water
like
people-
cartilage, but like
the
the part
light-
of your
the
ear, like top
light-skinned
part of your
Na'vi?
ear, you know, not bottom part of your ear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Probably.
You know, they got to hold up to water so that you can glide around and get some momentum
Yeah.
going. If they just, you know, what do I know though? But yeah, I bet that hair feels
This looks
great.
good.
No, I'm just kidding.
This game looks good. This is up my alley. I love Far Cry.
Good
I love the crappy open world, hitting a tower, clearing an outpost, just marking things off a checklist, and I'm sure this will be plenty of that, and I'm excited.
For sure. I think that there's no world where this reviews with like a Metacritic higher than like 83, and that's fine. You know, like there's also probably no world where it reviews lower than a 5 either. Like it's going to come out and it's going to be a slightly above average game if you like that kind of thing. You know.
This could
And
be the
I-
best Avatar game ever made.
I just bought the 360 Avatar
Would
game
not
so
be
I can
hard.
stream it because that game sucks. It's gonna be funny as fuck to stream.
Yeah.
They're also making a mobile game. I think Ubisoft as well.
That's
a
right.
mobile
Yeah, they
shooter.
are. I think it might be like a online shooter.
For Avatar?
Yeah.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a fucking nightmare. Yeah, but there was like, I mean, obviously, oh, look at them fucking this tree. Holy shit.
Oh.
We gotta get out of here. This shit's getting hot as hell. This is getting hot
That's
as hell.
how you get to your skill points is by
Yeah,
sticking
yeah,
your
yeah.
wiener in a tree.
It's not a wiener. It's hair stuff.
That's how I got all my skill points.
So true. So true. Very impressive. Yeah, I think it looks good. There was some like rough shit in this trailer, but I would rather them show like a rough looking gameplay trailer than like a CGI trailer. You know what I mean? Like show us really where your game is at. Like, there were a couple scenes where like there was something in the distance moving at like 10 frames per second, or like some choppiness in some fucking environments and stuff, which is fine for a game that's like all things considered probably 9 months out minimum. So I was into it.
It comes out December 7th.
Yeah, December.
Oh yeah, you're
7th,
right.
yeah.
Fuck.
They
All right.
they
months.
didn't show anything that was just cinematic, did they? They showed gameplay with every game at their showcase. Unless I missed something.
I think they did. Yeah.
They did. They 100% did. Good call.
So I got to give it to them for that.
Yeah, the next game that they showed gameplay of was Prince of Persia. So nothing. We talked about Prince of Persia already a decent amount, but Tactical Dreamer, I think you were mentioning some of like the powers that they showed. during
Yeah, they
this.
showed like just like being able to basically imprint yourself on the world and then rewind to that imprint that you made, which seems very cool for some puzzles and traversal stuff.
Yeah, and it looked like there was some environmental puzzle solving as well. Like there was some stuff going on in like the backgrounds, which is, I feel like, not the norm for Metroidvanias. Like typically it's more of just like you traverse by unlocking moves that do like certain things. This looked like there was actually like an in-universe puzzle to solve with some sort of background elements. Who knows? It's probably too early to tell to get it from that small amount of stuff, but I think a really good look at this game, which is shaping up to be a banger. Anything else on Prince of Persia for you guys?
I just really
Next-
like key art.
I'll
very good.
keep this brief because I don't know if anyone else gives a fuck about Jet Set Radio, but God damn, I love Jet Set Radio, and you can get beat in one of the other characters for Roller Champions, and I know that Roller Champions isn't good, and it's not fun, but god damn, I do want to fucking hop in there and play it with that Jet Set Radio future, or Jet Grind Radio, or Jet Set Radio stuff so badly. Cool that they're doing that. They're also bringing Master Chief to Brawlhalla. What a time to be alive. Through Motorfest, any racing gamers?
It looks good.
I could be getting this. I don't know.
Yeah,
the Crew
me
2
too.
was a little off-putting to me. I like the first Crew more than the second Crew. It depends on how much they lean into the live service aspect,
Yeah,
because I think
yeah.
that was what killed 2 for me.
Yeah, I get that.
Is this
I
the
think-
Forza Horizon open world racer or just
Absolutely.
like racetracks? Okay.
Yeah.
It's the Forza
It's,
Horizon to the Cruise 1 and 2's Forza Motorsport, which are also honestly more Forza Horizon than Forza Motorsport in their own right. But nonetheless, this one is like, there's a festival in the background of the key art, but they're doing some really interesting stuff, I think, with like the visual aesthetic and some of the theming. It had a really good showing. Like, it went from like, I don't know about this, to like, I think I'll play in the Crew when it launches.
Yeah, and it's set on the island of Honolulu, or it's
Oahu,
an
yeah.
island
It's in
Oahu in Hawaii. And so it's just that entire island that you can explore.
Yep. Looks good. Looks
looks
like a
good.
more curated and focused experience than the other 2 Crew games.
Mm-hmm.
We'll
Instead
play.
of doing the entire United States.
And it's also worth noting, like, I don't pay for EA or fucking Ubisoft games anymore. When a full price game comes out, I spend $15 for that month of Ubisoft Plus or EA Play Pro, and then download it and then cancel my subscription. You never have to pay full price for one of their games again. As long as you just want to play it, beat it, and then move away, you can just go ahead and cancel that sub after a little while. It's a word to the wise. That's how I played Jedi Survivor, $15. That's how I played Need for Speed Unbound, $15. Just little shots. Instead, I'd be out $120 for games I'm never fucking playing again.
140.
Not bad. 140. It's 2023. What am I saying? Wild times.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Mirage had another great showing.
Cannot wait.
Yeah. Definitely going to be playing this. Very excited.
They're really leaning into like, this is not like the other Assassin's
Good.
Creeds we've put out recently.
It's like
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is nostalgia.
Very nostalgic. I loved Origins and liked Odyssey a lot. But yeah, Valhalla was just like, I don't know. It got too big.
Bridge
and
too
did
far.
Not have the
Yeah.
creativity. Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm ready to go back.
I often say about the Assassin's Creed games that Origins was the right size for me. And then
Yeah.
Odyssey I played some time in and I didn't finish, and then Valhalla I started to see the same thing that Odyssey had, and I was like out after like 8 hours. And I basically, in my head, like when an Assassin's Creed comes out, I allow you 32 hours of my time. Please make me enjoy that time that I am about to give you. Like that's pretty much where I want to check out, and that's what Origins did for me, and they haven't done that since. And this feels like a game that I can get in and get out of and enjoy my time with before it starts to overstay its welcome. And that's what I'm one of the things that I'm most amped about.
Yeah. I agree. Origins, I loved. Odyssey, I thought was okay, and then Valhalla was a drag. But I've spent over 100 hours each in those games getting the platinum trophy, and I'm just excited to see a return to form for Assassin's Creed. And they added the like blue-gray filter if you want to play it like you did Assassin's Creed 1 with the kind of washed out color palette.
Yeah.
Interesting.
How many parts was your Assassin's Creed Valhalla YouTube playthrough?
Oh, give me a moment and I'll get back with you.
That
was the biggest mistake I've ever made.
For that
I-
engaging stuff.
I made a vow to myself I would never make another YouTube playthrough that was over like 15 hours long. So let's see.
A true nightmare.
It was miserable.
Let's dig into a Star Wars Outlaws, which I am so impressed with.
74
parts?
videos.
Oh my fucking
74,
god.
and they're each at least 30 minutes.
So crazy.
The first one was an hour and a half.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So this game came out and had a very nice looking CG trailer when it came out at the Xbox show, and they said tune in for gameplay at the Ubisoft show. And I am so impressed for a game that was revealed this weekend and then shown off gameplay of this weekend, how much they had to show of this game. really fucking impressive showing, man.
Yeah.
And it is a game without lightsabers. Where do you guys all land on this thing?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't see
cool.
why not.
So sick.
Ubisoft knows how to make a third-person shooter, so like, I'm down.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And we've all been saying we want stories, you know, just from the universe of Star Wars. This looks like just a Star Wars ass story, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah. The way that I was kind of pitching it as I was like watching the gameplay unfold was kind of felt like Uncharted gameplay, third person in the Ubisoft world. Like you're kind of cover-based shooting, stealthing around whenever possible, but more getting into like ridiculous firefights and being able to shoot your way out of situations for sure. But what really struck me was the gameplay variety, to hop onto the speeder and then run around that open world, which obviously it makes sense. We're going to have some traversal options because we're definitely going to be climbing some fucking towers and unlocking some waypoints for fast travel. But when they hopped into the fucking ship and took off into the atmosphere, I was over the moon. Like really cool shit. And I get it. It's not, you know, the most amazing thing in the world that we've never seen in a video game before. I mean, No Man's Sky exists, you know. Starfield is coming out and is going to do that in a more impressive manner, but that transition to actual gameplay and then not having an overwhelmingly expansive area to explore in the universe, is probably just going to be like a handful of planets and then the space area around those planets where you're just jumping from light speed to get from one to another with some explorable terrain in the air, I think is the right amount to give us. But added a lot for me for the immersion and for the gameplay variety.
I have a question of like, this trailer that we're watching is like a 2:1 aspect ratio, like an ultra wide. I don't know if this is how it's going to be in like normal gameplay.
I don't know why they chose to do that.
It's very odd. But I mean, it's cool. So I think the game looks amazing. So I'm in 100%. There's no release date, right?
2024.
No. Did they didn't say 2024? I assume 2024, but
I think they said 2024, but they didn't pin down a time. Probably 2025 March. My money's on March 2025.
likely. Yeah. Okay. The little alien freak that's with you, better or worse than BD1?
Worse. Not as good as BD1.
Yeah.
Worse. I agree. I think I agree. But I haven't given him a chance yet.
Nothing wrong with him. Just BD1's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough call. It's a tough call. Need to see more. I like her sidekick. No. Star Wars hates sex.
Yeah, that's true. The assault or what? Oh god, what's it called? The droid that's whatever.
Yeah. Kind of gives the droid wearing a cloak. The droid wearing a cloak gives me some like General Grievous vibes. You know, like
yeah.
I don't know. I'm feeling it though. Star Wars Outlaws, great key art, great fucking key art, and the best Star Wars UI that I've ever seen.
Yep.
Tough to relay exactly what makes it so good, but obviously like transitions and wipes are a given, but it's like every single piece of the UI when it says like mission complete looks like a like Star Wars font, like it looks like the same way you would see Empire Strikes Back written out on its cover, that kind of thing. Really nice little like details for a game that's still pretty early in its development, which is pretty rad. And that wrapped up the Ubisoft show and just left a pretty big bummer of a Capcom show.
Yeah, I'm glad you agree.
Yeah, I mean, at least Capcom's making good games. They can make terrible shows if they make good games. I'll allow it.
Agree.
Yeah, the biggest, the biggest, coolest thing there, and the first thing, well, no, it's not the first thing we're going to talk about. Pragmata was the biggest, coolest thing there.
But it was just like
cool. It's not coming out this year. That was.
But talk about like starting off on a fucking bummer. They're like, let's take another look at the trailer that was premiered for Kunitsugami Path of the Goddess, and they literally just ran back the exact same trailer from the Xbox showcase, which still looks good. Go figure.
Yeah, I don't get Capcom's strategy, because they do this every year where they give their trailers to other companies to show at their showcases, and they show the same trailer. It's like, if they had not given that to Microsoft, I would have been like, whoa, this is a cool new IP they just announced. It looks awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we did get the Pragmata. They did a little bit fuck it, where I think it would have been cool. Like they said, now let's take a look at Pragmata, and like my reaction was like, holy fuck, fucking Pragmata's back. It's not vaporware. When you could have just rolled the fucking trailer and said, like, check this out, and then after a couple seconds,
they did the PC game showcase thing where they tell you what they're about to show. You don't have to blow your load right before it. You know, just
I agree.
Let it roll.
I agree. But nonetheless, kind of a cool trailer. It was short and sweet, but also
I like
a
how
really
they
nice,
apologized.
Like, sentiment. Yeah, they did. They fucking apologized, but I liked that.
Yeah, I did too.
They went silent for so long. The last time we saw this game was at the PlayStation 5 reveal, right?
Yeah.
And then since then, not a fucking word. And in the slight glimpses of gameplay, it looked like an action third-person combat game with like shooting and melee mechanics, where you and the girl who's on your back both combat like or fight as like one single unit. But yeah, the same thing, like the handwritten note here where it's like 2022, no 2023 question mark. Like very good stuff.
What is the girl's name? Let's take bets.
No, who knows?
Guesses for the girl's name.
Pragmata.
Oh shit, that's a fucking good guess, dude. We're giving that like Vegas odds. It's like 40% is Pragmata, and then everything else is maybe her name is Prag.
0.00,
I'm gonna go with like her name is like, it's like dot, but it's like D.O.T, and it's like an abbreviation for something. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like a pronounceable name, but it stands for something else.
My guess is Luna because they had the moon in the first trailer.
Oh, Luna's like really good, dude.
Luna.
Yeah. The through line was at the end, they didn't even have voiceover for it. They just put out this like still image that let you read it. To all our expectant fans, it is with a heavy heart that we must further postpone the release of Pragmata. Our team is currently hard at work making the best game that we possibly can, but we need more time. We will continue to do our best to ensure that the final product is one that is worthy of your patience. Thank you for your continued support, the Pragmata development team. It's a sweet sentiment.
How?
Please look forward to
my
it.
question is like, they delayed it the right way, but like, why am I okay? Like, why is the general public so accepting of this delay and like this messaging? But is it because they came with a trailer instead of just a Twitter post? You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
it's because they shut the fuck up for 3 years.
Yeah, I guess so.
People lost hope completely. So the fact that it's here and they're apologizing for the delay.
Hope back.
Yeah. It's all about how you present it. If you're trickling out bullshit and making weird fucking PR tweets all the time, then it's like a whole fucking thing, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
What can
that's
you do?
fair. I was just trying to I couldn't figure out in my brain why we were so accepting of this. But then whenever, you know, Cyberpunk comes out with another delay or whatever, we're always like, we hate you. You know?
For sure. Pragmata. All right. Then they showed game of the show, Exoprimal. All right. We won't talk about Exoprimal that much. I'm the only person I think that's into it, right?
In the world.
Seems interesting. I'll play it for a weekend. It's on coming to Game
Pass, baby.
Yeah.
Game Pass, baby.
Coming to Game Pass, I'll play it a little bit.
Beta 2 this Friday on the 16th, which I think is pretty cool too. I'm going to hop into that as well. I had a good time in that beta, a better time than I thought I would have. Like Exoprimal, I think there's a place in the world for it. We'll see how it all pans out for them, but I don't know. God damn, at the end of every trailer for Exoprimal, when they show off all the stuff, there's like a flash, like a poof, poof, and it's showing like Battle Pass, fucking pre-order bonus, deluxe edition contents. It's just like skin after spray after fucking emote. Like, oy. They are games as a servicing this fucking thing.
You liked that. I thought you liked that.
I liked it a lot, but I get it.
Okay.
The last thing they showed was Dragon's Dogma. Where are you guys at on that?
I'm in.
Looks awesome.
Yeah.
I love Dragon's Dogma 1.
I never played Dragon's Dogma 1, and I feel bad for missing out.
Not too late.
So I'm in on the second one. I mean, I bought it earlier. Will I ever play it? Probably not. It's like $6 on PlayStation right now.
Still holds up, but it is, you know, it's a time investment. We're always talking about how little time we have for
how little time.
Game, so.
Yep. Here I am trying to juggle Destiny and Diablo 4, and it's impossible.
Don't remind me.
You're every once in a while, maybe a little Fortnite. I don't know.
Fortnite every once in a while. Yeah. Man.
All right.
What a good season.
Of what? Fortnite?
For games.
Oh.
It's a good season, good summer
got
of
it.
gaming.
Good summer of
I
gaming.
agree.
Happy
I
summer of
agree.
gaming.
Yeah.
What do you guys think is your favorite show? I asked you what your favorite game was. What was your favorite individual show? I'll allow like an A-B here too. I think overall for me, the Freak games that were announced at Summer Game Fest did it for me. Microsoft is close too, but Ubisoft, the way that they did their presentation, I have a soft spot for. I like that old school mentality.
Did you like the guy that came out and talked about his new TV show, The
No.
Blood Dragon?
No, I didn't like the throat singing from the Sea of Thieves or fucking Skull and Bones.
See, I did like that stuff because it did remind me of old Ubisoft
Oh,
conferences.
Yeah.
and
Did they
Konami
have
conferences.
Do they have a
Right.
panda dancing around for Just Dance? Or
No,
was there
no
Just
furry
Dance?
this time.
There was just
What?
Dance at the very
Kids-
beginning.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
Just Dance at the
okay.
very beginning, but those kids that liked the furries grew up and got new kinks.
Tough.
Yeah, they're all into like hair sex now.
Yeah, of course. It's trending.
Yeah.
It's trending across the
Tying their
universe.
ponytails together.
Any other picks for best show?
I got to call out PC Gaming Show just because it's become a tradition with a group of friends of mine that we get together and drink heavily throughout the 2-hour.
And remind the people
Project.
at home where they can hear that if they wanted to watch
at,
it back.
that one's not on mine. That's at oh god, who is that with? Is that on Dialogue
be-
Box's YouTube? It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Listen, we said we didn't want to have a 3-hour podcast, and here we are.
Boy,
At 2
hold
hours.
on, man. I haven't given my favorite show
Nobody
yet,
cares. No,
okay?
I'm just kidding.
I
ahead.
have
This guy's gonna say fucking PlayStation, bro.
PlayStation was my favorite show
Oh my god.
because
Abysmal
of Spider-Man.
take.
Because of
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Okay,
Mhm.
I have
Nintendo
a
was my
soft-
favorite show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
I have a soft spot for Spider-Man. That
My
will
favorite show was
never
the Succession finale.
beat.
Does that count?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
How are you guys not taking me seriously? I just want to be treated like an adult.
All right, we're going around the horn for plugs. I am Jake Twitchin everywhere, or you can just go to amazingstreamer.com to find whatever you'd like for my content, including GameList, which you can find on podcast apps by searching GameList, or we're GameList Show everywhere that you look.
And then through amazingstreamer.com to GameList, you can then find me at Kauulin_. Pretty much everywhere.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm Dreamer Tactical everywhere.
I'm Captain Stubbs
Tactical
1
Dreamer.
everywhere. Yeah. Oh yeah, or Tactical Dreamer.
Yeah, I'm actually only Dreamer Tactical on Twitter. That was a fucking lie. Tactical Dreamer everywhere else.
We'll take it. Now they'll find you for sure. And on 3, we're all going to say our famous catchphrase here. It's very easy. It's thanks for listening. I'm just kidding. You guys don't have to say that. Really fun show. And listen, we don't branch out enough here on the show. Colin and I do a 2-man show all the time. We've had one guest historically in the almost 2 years we've been doing this podcast. So I appreciate you two, reaching out, breaking bread, and coming onto the show with us. Really made a difference. Super fun to chop it up and go over the biggest week of the year with you guys. Great to have some extra voices, and I got some games written down here that I wasn't interested in before that I now am because of what you guys said. So really dope
Yeah,
shit.
thanks for having us, man. It's been really great getting to cross-pollinate some of this content.
Yeah, for sure. We should put our hair together.
We should
on
put our
3.
hair together. Put our ponytails together.